Hi everybody, this is Myra, Community Relations at the City of Rollins, and we are going live on our budget session. Second one, when they're going over all the numbers. We are not quite ready to start, but I am going to go live so people can jump on. So we're just getting ready. Okay, so we'll stay live until we get going. Hopefully we don't have the video problem last yesterday. Okay.
Pretty good. Good. It was good. Sean showed up. Oh, that was good.
Myra, this is the best.
City Market? Yeah, it's that, they call it like green pistachio salad, but it's like that.
We call it water fart or water.
Water something, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Just
the City Market.
Walk around.
I know. I took my seat.
Couple of things. The main one.
What if we should?
In our budget, we heard two is the biggest discussion that we had at the council.
Okay, so we can do the
Beautification
song.
and improve the entrances into our
Damon doing a
community.
short intro.
That's one of the entrances.
We will be fine. I promise.
I'm looking at the back. I said 15 minutes left.
What color flowers do you want in the grape?
25.
And I didn't touch anything.
Landscape ties.
So this page is out.
Landscape ties, they got a chain that goes around.
Okay.
That's the main part. And then Martinez is a simple. Martinez is something that we can do easily. Scratch the surface of the southeast corner, goes to see the
Mayor's ELA, and we don't have staff on, so do you want to start our meeting off tonight?
There's what I'm talking about from here to the wall. Just enough for a little water to see that grass will take.
I was thinking about those bricks and
Yeah.
if we got enough bricks, we could use them also for the
My thing is down in the bottom part, those kids use that for soccer. I was thinking of
I've got pictures of where they're using the yard.
antique sweet.
Just rocks
What they did was they
quarry
got a
stone.
grant
When they got out of the quarry,
and designed it. They hauled it out.
and fescue that grass. So it's all just low, low hills on it. And then I saw what they did last year, and then they got that wall, and all their, this
I'm
good
not sure if
things
it's
on the
from
wall.
federal
And I
government or
was
state.
thinking that's the same color, it's coming out of the high school. Yeah, so if we can get that free, we can go back.
That's 25 years.
Right. Yeah.
What last
That's a good idea.
There was something more to it. Okay, I got you. Maybe some airplanes or something.
I went down there, there's a ramp.
Hey, Sean, where's the audit at?
So there's a ton of communities that have this same auditor that just for COVID reasons, for whatever reason, just never finished the audit. And so,
Isn't that doing something?
yeah, that's that's when it should be done. And then I know Jody's talked with the state because it's like it puts us in a
Big fine for this.
I mean, we still have a pretty good idea where things are, but it's not. It would make me feel a lot better if we had the audit because then it clears some. It would be more accurate. So, but okay. So
Anyway, yeah, we'll have to do that.
Yeah, it's unheard of for Ralph to be so.
Actually, two.
yeah.
Yes, and
Well,
there's two of them. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Well, I thought you just said you were there.
But it's just to the point where I want to call a different auditor and say, hey, just come and redo an audit. Like, I don't want to do that,
I don't want to waste money, but
it's
it's
just
due, right? And we need that. We need that now.
And then once they start, no, we'll think about it.
so contemplating
Don't make me-
doing a new audit just to get an audit.
Sorry, I moved you.
That's okay.
I like
And now it's straight up. I'm leaning over at it like.
I was running around.
Report it to me, because I.
I gathered, 16
I'm
pictures.
like, I mean, like this.
Your
Like, what am I supposed to do? The only. What am I supposed to do?
Somebody here, wants that, they want it.
With all the greens at the top.
No. Well, if you print it at the top, then you snip off the option, which is the grants, and all of the.
Ready for round 2, Daryl? Yeah.
Knocking down those old houses. She got a grant and started knocking down.
I don't know.
So we're thinking of stuff that is working for.
Yeah, and all of that option.
Do I need any of the paperwork on this?
I do want to
Not
say this is
necessarily
interrupting my thought.
but
We are, so we're getting close to finishing the general fund and they're just printing off the utility funds, the rest of them. So just for a little bit, yeah. You have it?
Yeah, it's in my car.
Yeah.
Is there an orange behind?
45 degree and just drop it back down in.
I might get yellow ones, but let me check and see what we have.
Yellow, that'll work.
That'll work? Okay. I don't know how this.
Anyway, so yeah, so they're in the car. They're in the dirt. I didn't know, because I know like with bleach, see, I don't know how they work, so I just never was
Barry, you're still on the.
I want to go. I want them to, I would like to try, because they're actually making all this stuff. And I didn't realize, the one size kind of beat out, and what we were gonna do is tie it together. And then, but I didn't realize the one side's like this, and this one quit because it started going.
It's like kind of like
Oh, yeah.
to like
So I snipped those, so hopefully it'll go back.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Sean, I know you'll go over this, but is this total for just the grant writer?
I might do
I
one
was
of
just gonna put it on
these.
your hood.
As like a full-time position, as an option.
Or some like crazy birthday things that are in the plan.
No, it's a plan.
Yeah.
Is that
I mean,
lemon
I
pound
would.
cake or something?
Let me be clear.
It's not safe.
Tell me if
It's
it's,
not.
tell me if it's lemon real quick,
But we need a picture.
if you don't mind.
We need a picture of them working. Are you really?
My water is already.
Oh.
From last night's conversation.
If it is, it's very light.
So, council people, I just wanted to let you know, we looked more into that grant, and it's only like a 2.5-minute video at the most, it might be closer to 2, so you don't have to be filmed tonight. Just because it's such a short time, it's like 150 megabytes. So.
She shouldn't have thought better, and we wouldn't be the best looking candidates for the video.
I'm not sure.
After a little bit of thought.
Seven of you, and you only get to talk for 2.5 minutes total? And we have to have a nominator. There's a requirement, there has to be a community nominator, so. I mean, if you guys don't want to film what's great about Rollins, I will use it somewhere else. I'm not telling you no. Just the grant is super restricted, so.
Really, Oasis of.
Oh, I'm ready.
Just waiting.
It's going, it's live.
Okay, my ladies are printing it off for me.
Okay.
So,
I still feel the same way.
Nothing less.
There you go. I don't know why I'm not. I have to say, I'm disappointed. I thought you had gummy worms.
Oh.
Because I just know.
Hey, is that a lemon?
No gummy worms, but.
We don't want
Oh.
to go.
Let me,
Our age runs.
Lynn, wow.
Great.
Well, I would rather. Oh, well, don't eat it.
I felt
It's
sick.
vanilla.
No, she said.
I don't know why I won't.
Guilt, man.
Yeah.
So she had your stuff right now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a bit.
I need to. Look where I forget. I guess that, we got notice of the.
Those are the worst.
Oh, hold on, I was just getting.
Oh, okay.
And then, I guess they poured and yo misjudged the stats. Somebody told me so with the I want it back, I want it proof,
We need to look. Did Sean look for you?
You're on the hook for that guy. You're usually
He will, but later. He didn't say how long he was going to be. He was doing some project.
Did you look for the impact fund sheet, like where it tells you when they applied for it?
Applied for impact
The
assistance.
impact fund assistance, yeah. Did you find that, what they said they were gonna use it for?
So we will be talking about impact. We're almost there actually in the budget to talk about the impact assistance funds. We've been talking about that quite a bit recently with Amy and Jody. And the impact assistance is like a grant almost. Like it's very restricted in how we spend it. We have to be really cautious. We have to look at like the time frame that the project as the project is escalating and different things and making sure that we're picking things that align with the project construction. So I actually just the other day I sent an email to Karen Choquette, the one who's kind of in charge of the choke cherry and all that, and she's gonna send me a timeline of like everything, so then I can feel more confident of selecting things that align with the project. So anyway, long story short, we're working on how we can spend it.
But is it, there's certain things that was allocated to, right? Like some streets and stuff like that, there's a percentage of that that was allocated to streets. That's what I'm asking. Like that?
It's not necessarily to streets. It's like a little bit more broad in nature because
Are all the things
we just have to make sure that we spend it on unmitigated impacts, like Amy had mentioned before. So it could be streets. It could be like we just have to tie it real specifically. Like at this point in the construction project, there was an extra 500 people, and so that could justify maybe we can do wear course during that time frame because there was all extra. Does that make sense? So it's a bit tricky, but Jody and I are gonna work on coming up with how to spend it well.
Yeah, I just think we should look at a lot of street projects and stuff like that because we do need a lot of that stuff taken care of.
We are getting really close, I promise. Hello, people.
There's a 1.2 million impact that was in on our sheet. And down below at the engineering, $200,000, right below it, $800,000. I think that was for streets, and I think it was on the end, it looked like it was already allocated or at least in the budget to cover something. Oh, yeah.
And originally it was for
I thought it was for streets or something, but it's for engineering, for 200,000, and the 800,000 for.
I guess it does into
That out of that.
Where would it be? It's just the.
I don't have the computer. The computer goes to
Only in
sleep.
that question I told
We
you?
reviewed some of those. Opinion, we made some changes.
Both problems. Both problems.
Is this what
Do
we
you know I only have one
So we
half
would need to
thought,
use this one tonight.
and that is the
Not
Dell
this.
come play on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's my only half thought. If it wasn't for that, I would probably be
There's
posting.
some raise on dam, which we have not talked about.
Yeah, I know.
But I remember Scotty talking about that,
Right on Sunday.
and that's why I keep asking.
Well, I think that's
for
where
it.
we're going.
Yeah,
I know.
this,
I think
I'm already
it's
here for
intended to go
this.
to
Okay.
That's in the
or something.
future. I'm saying on Sunday,
I
I have
I
one
was trying to
single
give
half
you
thought, only one.
Maybe we'll get to that item as we're going through here.
I'm excited.
What was the
Well, so there's impact 1.2 million for the operating envelope, 200,000 for engineering, and then 800,000 below that.
Daniel will be able to speak to that one.
I would high five you, but I do like this. For you, that's probably a thing, right?
So that's, but not, nothing.
So,
This must be it, starting with our water.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So
I accept your
guess we
terms.
could get it started.
When you're ready? I'm going to call the meeting to order since the mayor is not here and vice mayor is not with us, so I'll just assume the chair position for tonight. And so we will start. Sean, if you'd like to go forward.
Yes, thank you. So last night we left off, we were just about to do code enforcement, and then Blaine and I had a minute to talk about some of the budget items. We need to make just two adjustments from what we talked about before.
Is that on the old sheet?
Yeah, on the old sheet.
Okay.
So the original budget that we're currently in for the overtime pay is 28,000, and it needs to stay 28,000. So that's one
Where?
change
On fire department?
on fire
Yes, sir.
department.
What
Yep.
page is that again?
If you keep going through, you see
6.
police, then fire's right after them, if that helps.
So you're
Should be
below them
second
finally?
page.
Yeah, in a matter of speaking on paper, but,
It's got the second page.
not in statute.
6th page, right? 6.
It's because they hire big guys.
So we had, like on previously we had put 22,000 and it should be 28,000. So that's just one pretty
It's under the
small change.
overtime line item, you'll see like a negative 6,000. We kept that in.
Okay, so that's out of there now.
Yeah, and then if you go
28.
down to 280, it's building grounds and maintenance. We had in there 13,000. And then if you look at the very last item, which is FA facilities, there's 20,000 in there that was currently budgeted. So we're shifting that 20,000 up to the building.
Where you at now?
Oh, sure.
Not the fire department.
Yeah, sorry.
Same.
Yeah, the last part on the fire department, as you turn the page.
Oh, for the.
Yes, sir, turn the
Still on
page.
the fire department?
We are, sir.
Oh, okay.
So you're adding that
The number that was down there that we
20,000.
took off.
Yeah.
So the 20,000 is getting added back in, but it's going underneath the building grounds maintenance.
That's
That's right. That's where it should. That's
So
really where
that-
it should belong.
So it comes out to 33,000?
Correct. You got it. You got it.
Okay, just a second, I'm still lost. Revenue, community development, economic development, grant writing, budget for.
No.
Did you just read it 3 times now?
Oh, they
Yep. So what it is that this one right here, ma'am, did you get the first one? It's under overtime, I don't have my glasses on. Overtime, it says minus 6,000, we added that, so it's 20,000 where it was. Give me a stick it through your paper.
I couldn't.
And then on the back side,
Do you have it up on the other sheet?
yeah, so then we added that into, it actually came in
Fire
the
department.
Here, she's gonna bring it up.
Page 6, page 6 is going to start.
Okay.
Daryl and
I
Eric,
haven't
you
done
know,
supervision
are you
yet.
with? Did that make sense? What we explained here?
so this,
Okay, I'm sorry.
Here, Daryl, you got one?
Yep.
See how this one was taken off completely? We took that and added it back into our, didn't know the repair, building repair, maintenance, every year would be like 13,000, it would be 33,000 instead, so that means it means corrected over dollars put back into our maintenance.
it's like in the right spot.
And then, yes, the 6,000 for overtime, we added that back in, so it's 28,000.
Yes, fire department right there.
Okay. So the only actual change in numbers is the 22 to 28.
That's right.
But everything else is
So
just
then,
categorically.
Yeah, we moved that 20,000, but it should be 33,000 now into building maintenance and repair.
Okay.
And the 28 is our current budget, so we're just.
Yeah, we just kept it the
28.
same.
So it's
Okay.
actually a zero impact.
Okay.
And I think,
Go ahead, Sean.
okay.
They took that 20,000.
Right, Claire's
took that
money.
20 and
You can
added
carry
it
on.
in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They
that's
took
what-
that and put it over here.
They put it back, yes.
That's correct.
I have a question mark.
So really
Glad you had a question.
no impact is
Yeah,
what we're
that's what-
saying to the current budget. And I think that's it. I think that's it on fire.
Before Sean goes any further, I'd like to say something. Yesterday was not my finest moment, and I would like to make an apology for kind of coming in with a little head of steam. It was not fair. I should have came on in and been a little bit more professional than I was, and I thought about that last night and said that was really improper to be in front of the council and kind of act like that. He was kind enough to bring me in this morning, explain everything that was going on. We were able to make some changes, which I really appreciate. So I don't have a whole lot of times where I'm not a happy, bubbly kind of guy, and yesterday was one of them. So yes, I am human, I do have, but I wanted to make an apology to the whole group for that, okay? So accept my apology, and I'll knock all that stuff off, okay?
I'm just
So,
gonna fine you $500.
yes, ma'am, that's fine. My city manager will take care of that.
Can I write the ticket?
Thank you.
Yes, it's a tough table back here. Right? Man, the love's getting thick already.
All right, so let's go over to Chris for code enforcement.
Okay, for code enforcement,
Number one.
part of the,
Yeah, just
strategic
for
plan.
a little bit, and then we'll move to the new one.
part of the strategic plan is to add additional code enforcement officer. So we give you that option of what that would look like. Additional 40,000 for that position, and then benefits an additional 44,000 for that. But an additional cost of just adding in code enforcement, you have to also add equipment and everything to go with it, and a vehicle to go with it. So with travel and training, pretty much we took everything and just kind of doubled it. Travel training, utilities, ads and dues, that all just went up to $500. But the small tools and equipment, that's where we're gonna see that big bump of 20,000, just over 20,000 for equipment, office supplies, things like that to outfit that person. And then there's a capital project at the end that Sean added for the vehicle side of things, and that's
Yeah, we'll see that one in just a few minutes here.
Yeah,
We're
it's on
almost
our
to
list.
that. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Right.
so that's it on code.
And this
So-
includes the current code enforcement officer?
This includes the current and then the additional for all the new numbers, that budget to budget difference. That would include, the cost for that additional code enforcement officer. And then we would need the capital project for the truck.
So Chris,
Yeah.
on salaries then, there's two salaries, so is some of this, allocated out to any other department, or is this
Not in this one.
at 89,000 is for both positions?
Code enforcement is its own
89,000.
own program, so
Okay.
that would be two positions.
All right, thank you.
Quick question, so this is, I get for a second code enforcement, is that if we wanted to do that, or is
Correct.
this in the works?
If you want to do it, then this is what it would look like.
Okay, okay.
And if you did not want to do it, then you could look at like projected year end. So instead of like right now, we
You just look at what this year.
Yeah.
Minus he's only been on for 6 months, so that projected year end is a 6 month or 7 month
And
Yeah.
position that he's only been in. So.
Another way to look at it is take the 2022 fiscal, the proposed, and divide it by half.
Sure. Just a ballpark.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Cool. So let's go to the ancillary infrastructure. I know we've seen these in here historically: the chamber allocation, CCEDC, JPB, the old penitentiary, downtown development authority, and then we also the one thing that's interesting in here would be the airport. We plugged in 40,000 into the airport because is everyone up to speed on a little bit on what the airport was? Do you want to talk about it? Just
I
briefly,
don't
Aaron?
think so. This is
No
all
one's
pretty
up to
new.
speed.
Okay.
I guess this is a very big conversation, so I will try and keep it to just relevant information. in the end, right now, there is not an airport manager out there. Classic Air is effectively maintaining the airport, so we don't have direct control over what's happening out there. And so the conversation has revolved around bringing, so that the airport board would have an employee, which would be the airport manager. That's the way it was in the past, and then Classic Air came in, which changed some things. Just weird the way it happened. And so moving forward, my concern is that we are using a third party's employees to take care of the airport instead of a direct employee. And the bottom line is it's a huge liability, and when it goes bad, it's gonna go real bad. So this is all very new talks. I would argue just this year this has really been pushed. So I've been trying to sit with Sean and Jody to kind of, I mean, there's some of these things that when you start talking benefits, they get a little bit murky, especially with government stuff. And so I just been trying to get more data so that we can come down and say, here's exactly what it looks like, here's the proposal, and here's what we would like to do if it's feasible. I would argue that we will go to the county and explain the same argument to them and just kind of try and say, you know, listen, I mean, we're in a weird spot here and we would like to not be in a weird spot.
That was gonna be my next question. Where does the county sit in on that?
I have had some talks with, right now it's just with Sue, who is she does the Dixon Airport for the county. And so she's knowledgeable enough to understand why this is not a favorable position and that we probably will need to make some changes. We're just, instead of just throwing a problem saying, hey, here's the problem, I'm out, we're trying to come up with the solutions to present the problem and then a solution that we can then discuss farther down the road. Does that make sense?
My thinking is that they put some numbers together in case we would hire an airport manager. Is that
Correct,
right?
correct.
So we should be able to take those same numbers to the county commissioner and say, look, we could solve this problem if we split it.
I agree, yes. That is 100% the plan.
That's the fair way to do it.
And that's, I'm 100% with you.
Because the liability is just as much theirs as it is ours.
Correct, yes, it turns out, yeah. Mom and dad are in it together, right?
So,
Yeah.
Time-wise, how's that gonna work? You know what I'm saying? We're working on the budget now. We need to know if they're willing to come in with us so that we can make our decision on this budget.
I don't know, DeBar. I don't know how long it will.
If
I
I
don't
may,
know.
I would say the 40,000 is just a placeholder for what if. So whatever may happen, it could not be spent. We may need to amend
can hold
it
it
and
in
do
case-
better.
Sue
But
may
it's-
come around and say, hey, what if we
Yes.
looked at this idea, something nobody had ever considered? And so we're just, I mean, literally walking to the point where we're just about to bring everybody to the table to have that
Yes.
conversation.
So
Sounds
Erin,
good.
so far is Sue are you getting good feelings that maybe she knows there's an issue and that she would help?
Yes, I mean, I don't know that I would speak to the other
I understand.
part of that, but as far as her understanding on things, I
Yeah.
think, yes, I think she's,
And the other issue that we would have, we won't know until they pass their budget, and they pass theirs like the third week in July, their final budget, so we can get some kind of a feeling on what they're gonna do, but until they actually do it, we won't know till July. But
That's
yes.
usually the problem that we've always had.
Yeah, true.
Is that we work our tail ends and we put together our budget. And then we wait to find out what the county's gonna, they look at our budget and they say, well, we can do this, we can do
oh,
this.
sure.
So that's why I think it's important if we can talk to them before we finish our budget.
And I agree,
It's always like that.
I guess what I would say is I'm trying to have it to the point where maybe we would be a part of their meeting on the second part of May.
So, if I could jump in.
Please do.
The next meeting of the commissioners is May 18th, and that's gonna be in Riverside. However, they are meeting on the 25th and the 26th all day with the department heads to talk about budget stuff.
So maybe we can
could
weasel in
probably-
that,
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
When for that.
so.
Just mark that on the calendar.
Yeah, thank you for that. And also, Erin, is the airport board looking at any projects that will have to be matched at 10% or? Do you know anything that's coming down on that, or?
Nothing right now. So they're in the middle of the runway rehab, which is it $4.5 million? A $4.5 million rehab, and the match on that is a big fat zero.
Okay,
It's
good.
100%, and so that's literally, that is 100% of what's happening up there, is just trying to get that locked in and finished. We're just wrapping up the master plan. I think June is when it comes like finalized. There's going to be a lot of where the next year goes is going to come back to this very conversation with the manager and where we want to go. There's some other things that, some other discussions that I would be happy to have. I don't necessarily want them out in the public just because of some proprietary stuff and whatever. But there's some other options, and it just depends on how some of these go to where we can and can't go. I think the good news is that there's no animosity around. I don't think we're fighting anybody. I think everybody's on board that a positive change can be had. And
Is this for this year, this coming year, and not, or next year?
For next year's budget.
well, yeah. So this
And
is
this-
allocated for 2022's budget, but that would go live June or July 1 or June 1. July 1.
That's what I'm
This is a
asking.
live budget.
Okay.
Is there a chance that we could sit and talk to the commissioners as a council, commissioner, airport people, and hash a lot of this stuff out?
I think one of the,
I think that would
I think
help.
Jody's idea was to base it, I don't know if this is quite what you mean, but to form kind of a committee, right? A couple of council, a couple of commissioners, and then, so maybe it would be, just for arguments, you and Chris are part of this, and then I would be there as part of the airport, right? And then, I don't know, like Sue and Travis could be a part of it.
Well, I think that would help.
Something like that, so yeah, we can sit down and have it all out there and a full-on
You
conversation.
threw out a lot of stuff, and I'm pretty much supportive of that, because I think we need to have an airport. But I think that, if we could get them in a committee type situation
Agreed.
where we're talking, so that we're all on the same page of what's going on.
And I would say, and I, why things are, it doesn't matter to me, we're just going from here forward, right? But
Yeah.
that's one of the, I would describe it as a hardship with that board, has been that communication didn't really exist, and so it's, the board has always kind of gone to the county and then gone to the city and sort of been the middleman, rather than having that trifecta of conversation where we're all in it
Well,
together.
we used to have a larger
So-
board, I guess. They would come before the council, the airport board would come and present what they want, what they're doing, and we'd have an idea what's going on.
Sure, and this year, the only reason we didn't
Now
do that this year is because we're trying to come up with a bigger plan that's pretty remarkably different than what is.
Oh, yeah, I understand that, yeah.
And-
That's why I wanna sit down so that we know what.
And I'm in complete
when it
agreement.
comes out, that we know what's going on.
I very much would like that, yes, that is what I'm trying to, that's what I'm trying for. I
Okay,
agree
are
with
there
you.
any other questions of Aaron on the airport? Okay, if not, we'll move along.
So the nonprofit agencies, we just plugged in the same budget that we currently have. Is there any discussion that anyone wants to have on those?
When you say currently have, was it their request that you plugged in, or was it what we gave them last time?
It's currently, it's our current budget, so we probably need to adjust it according to their specific requests. So we haven't done that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, generally it's gonna be really close. But we could fix that up a little bit.
What's the council's pleasure? Do we want to deal with adjustments, or are you happy with what's plugged in, or? what-
I thought that the last meeting we had on nonprofits, that we pretty much said what we were gonna do. I don't know.
I don't
remember that.
I don't remember settling on anything.
Well, we didn't settle, but we
Yeah.
discussed it, and we went down the line,
Yeah.
they're asking for this, we're willing to do this,
We-
all the way down.
I don't think we've done that.
We haven't.
We
settled.
just,
thought we did.
we just heard them speak.
No, we just heard them
We
speak.
pretty much just went over what the
What
request
requesting.
was, but we didn't necessarily talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to do that
Okay.
right now, or
Okay, I see what you're
do you want
saying.
to come back to this?
Come back to it.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, I feel like
Let's come
maybe
back.
because I feel like you probably need to finish the presentation and then come back to the details of it.
We could do that, yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to nonprofits after we get through the others. Downtown Development Authority,
So this one is pretty easy too. It's just adjusting to actual and anticipated costs. It's very minor changes there. So it would be just to continue to fund as is, basically. Is there any discussion on that one?
no discussion? Okay. We'll move along to capital improvement.
Okay.
I guess it depends if it goes up or down. If it goes down, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Well, it says here, adjust to actual anticipated benefits. And so, when we start talking about that, if the
Yeah.
adjusted cost is going up, maybe that's something we wanna talk about.
Yeah, now,
Looks like it's an increase, right, of
Gee, this is,
4.26 across the board.
this is just the salaries, it's not the allocation that you give out.
Oh, this is salary?
Yeah, this is the
Oh.
salaries only that the city covers. So
Oh, okay, I
obviously
see what
that,
you're saying.
yeah, so
I thought
that
it was
would,
the whole thing.
yeah, it's not
Okay.
your allocation of 50,000 that you give every year. Okay, any other questions there? Okay. Sean, are we ready for capital improvements, or where would you like to go?
Yeah. So this one, we have a question on this one right here. This was in the budget. The entryway sign project, it looked like we didn't have any expenditures, so we put that down to 0. WHAM Energy Lease Program, I don't know what that is.
WHAM Energy is a long time ago, in order to get a furnace in this building, there were like 3 different ones. They're energy leases that we borrowed money through that program. So that's what I think it is.
Okay.
Has that been paid off?
I would have to have you check on it.
And it looks like we do have actual, so
It's
it looks
been
like
so
it's
long ago, it should be
continuing.
paid off.
I didn't know I'm leaving tomorrow.
Okay, so I think we can probably skip past this one and we'll check into this one because I'm not sure.
Okay.
So,
Where would you, okay, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor, we are on
we are now to the capital projects and
capital
general fund.
projects.
So,
We didn't introduce.
just after the fire.
Okay,
Yeah, we're on capital projects now, man.
okay, thank you.
It's the 17th.
We just haven't got to this yet.
They give you a new one.
Okay.
So, this is.
Oh, that's the
Oh,
But we're still on this one. So still, it's.
7 on this one. Okay,
Perfect. Okay, we'll get.
Do we have a
Pretty
blue
soon
paper
here.
or not?
I'm just thinking, which one do I look at it in the evening or?
All right, so with the capital funds, like we talked about yesterday, we had the projected 22, almost $23 million in the general fund.
okay.
And then we take the 40% as a restriction, and then it brings us to about $14 million. And now we are jumping into these capital projects that we, at a previous work session, we went through the capital projects. So now it's, I think we need to, maybe we can turn this back over to the council at this point to say any questions that you have about these current capital projects, or if you want any of our department heads to come up and speak to them quickly again, whatever your
So you
pleasure
have
is.
the grand total of that tallied out a little lower?
The
Yeah.
capital projects?
Yeah, so what I would like to
Yeah.
ask then, what you're saying to us, Sean, is that we have $14 million for capital projects. Or is it $14 million for the general fund plus capital projects?
$14 million unrestricted, so we.
Unrestricted for capital
To
projects.
use on
So
this,
it's-
yeah,
but
as
that-
one-time
does
funds,
that-
yep.
Is that include the 4 million that was in the reserves fund?
Yeah, so so
So,
yes.
so in all
Yeah,
reality,
so
it's
4
9
million
million,
is-
say.
So
No,
really-
so
so-
the total fund was 24, he just took 40% and put that in the reserve.
Yeah,
So
so
just count, that's all your savings, so that puts a 14 left over.
Transferred right here, 40.
I thought he said that included it, right?
So you're talking about 4.1 million that we previously had? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
yeah.
asking? So essentially that has become this number that we're now looking at, is the 13.9 million.
So it's the 9.23 is what the other number is that you're leaving the reserves in there.
Yeah, the 9 million is restricted.
So if you're keeping,
So-
So don't separate the 4.1 and don't separate the reserves and his 40%. It's all one lump savings account.
Yeah, so to just make it,
It's not separate.
I think, hold on.
just to make it really simple, so 4 million was the starting point before, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't matter anymore. What matters now is what we project is the fund balance, which is that 23 million. And then we're gonna restrict 40% of it, so what we have to spend potentially in capital is that 13.9. That's all, that's it, it's just 13.9.
And so then that 40%, which is what, how much is 40%? What's the number? Like,
It's
Nine.
nine,
so
just over
so
9
that
million.
9.2,
Yeah.
9.3, that becomes our reserve
That-
for savings
The-
account or emergency.
Yeah.
revenue fund.
That, okay, that's what I want.
That's what because
So
yeah,
instead
I
of
understood.
4.9.
I understood. You were taking the 4.1 out of the 13.9. That's what I.
Just put everything together. He's not looking at that 4.1 as its own line item. He just put it all back into the one big fund of 24
So
million.
think about it this way, Chris. So the 4 million, and then we've doubled in revenue this year, and so that 4 million is no longer 4 million. We're more like this number. Does
More
that
like
make more
9.2.
sense?
So you're gonna
4
put-
million is just what it was.
So it's
So-
getting added another 4, pretty much, or whatever.
Okay.
He's basically
Yeah.
doubling, taking
Yeah.
the 4.1 and doubling it plus a nick on top.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the new reserve.
Okay, so the 13.9 is total usable.
What you could potentially spend.
We could have.
But so this is an important part. So the conversation about 25%, 50% is what we should keep in our fund balance. So if we were to spend all of this, then that would bring us to 0%. We don't want to spend all of this 13.9 because we want to keep this up as high as we can, really.
You're wrong, we want to spend it. Well,
There's no way we can spend it because we don't have that much to offer.
My
Do you
recommendation
want to keep 50% of that? Is what you're saying?
for the short term, at least, I would recommend, of the capital items, what I would recommend is the top 3 perhaps, but I would still spend as little as necessary so that we can even out the valleys and the peaks. Because like we said yesterday, that wind could go away tomorrow. And I would hate to spend a lot of this and then have that happen and be in dire straits.
Okay.
So I really am asking you to be very prudent on what you approve, and what does not get approved would go back onto our 10-year capital improvement plan.
Okay, so do you have a bottom line of everything that's on this wish list?
That wish list, if you go to the very last page, has that grand total of all funds.
Is that 4 million or
Is it?
10 million? Is it the 10 million?
So Jody, is this the same as the other one?
This is the same
Yeah,
as
so-
yesterday?
Same as yesterday?
This I have not changed. This is when they presented it several weeks
Yes, so how
ago.
much is all of it?
So,
Cut down 10 more.
so if you look, if you add all of it up, grand total of all funds, run across, keep
welcome to
in
corporate
mind,
America.
4.3,
This is child
2.6
compared to
is
what they
carried
do.
over, and then we have 6 pending covering
Who's paying on that?
on
This
this.
is why
So you just
everybody
follow
needs
the
reading
policy.
glasses.
So we need, they would like to continue projects that are currently in course, we would need to carry over that. That's why I have carryover. And then the new amounts are here. If you're gonna,
Without the fishing pond on this list, I'll throw that out there.
Oh,
They-
sorry.
Our wish list is 4,000,000, I can't read, 4,000,000 something, three. And then carryover, which is our street, or our carryover is 2.6 for current projects. And then, the 6 penny projects is 3.761 for a total of 10,364. And remember the 6 penny stuff is not in this 14 million, right?
the 6 penny is a standalone and is not
Right.
part of this budget.
So we're looking at 4 million plus the carryover.
I would recommend looking most strongly at the top 3 of each category would be my recommendation, but of course, you're free to do what you want.
Sorry, I gotta just make a comment though. You're looking at the total, capital budget, but we have to separate enterprise and general.
Absolutely.
So really, right now, we're looking at general
Yeah.
capital request, which is not that. If you look
Yes.
at carry forward
So let's
and
just,
general.
I think we should just talk about general right now, and then
So-
we'll get
so
to
I
general
just
is
wanted to make
1.9
sure, 'cause it
and a
sounded like a
1.2
lot more.
carryover.
So if I may, if I may, what I did is I took from this list all of the general fund items and it's listed in the budget. So that's where those numbers in the budget come from, is off of this list. So what you have here,
Yeah, if everyone
that
wants
is
to take a look up.
the general fund.
So you've got, so if you look up there, the total current fiscal year request would be this 2.2 million. And then the carryover, I'm just gonna sum this up for us. So, oops, let me grab all that. Alright, so these two numbers right here is what we need to decide how much you wanna spend on these two numbers together, which, where's the,
Oh, it just went off.
was it there?
Yeah.
So that's a total of 3.5 million is what we're trying to decide right now.
And that's for these here?
No, that,
I would just focus on this one right here.
Yeah.
Well, cause that
I took the
includes,
general fund items from there and put it up here, so they're the same thing.
yeah, so exactly. You can just drop that spreadsheet because it's here in front of us.
Okay, excuse me one more time, I guess I'm dense. I want to be absolutely clear.
Oh, no, it's not just you, my dear. You're okay.
Okay. I thought that capital projects were not in the budget, they're on a separate list, and you put those on the bottom of this one list.
That is not included in any budget item, they're just listed here for convenience. They are not in any total, cause I don't know what you want to put into the budget.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. All
Yeah.
right, so we're back to the capital list, but that you put it here somewhere.
Yes.
So you're saying of this
AJ,
list of items
right?
right here,
But these
there's
numbers aren't the same
$3.2
as these
million
numbers.
to pick and choose of these what we want.
These are, it says capital items right here.
Yeah, so they
It's
sort of
3.5.
So
Yep.
I
Yep,
pulled
that's
what-
just
exactly
right
from
here.
here.
Okay.
Here it is, the whole thing.
Right
So-
here is
So,
prior to here.
one sec, go back to those numbers, please, Sean.
Okay.
Go
So all
down.
of these in bold.
Sure.
So
are the
those
ones
numbers
I
right
pulled
there,
out there,
That's-
and
should
how
be
you
the
break
same
it.
numbers at the
And
bottom
you
of this
can
sheet.
eliminate
It should be
that
very
here,
close,
too.
yeah.
And they're not. There's like,
Okay, hold on. Okay, these right here, you see fire department, police department.
Okay.
yeah,
police.
yeah.
Okay, those are taken directly from here.
Oh.
I just took the general fund and just pasted them here for your convenience.
Okay, no, I see
So-
that, but what I'm saying is this number does not match up.
No, because you're
To this one.
comparing apples to oranges. What you have here is Public Works. So if you go down to where Public Works is, which may be onto the next page, no, Public Works right here. These are up here. And I carried the numbers across. So this is just for convenience.
Okay, so if I can, just focus on this page right here. right up in front of us, and let's just talk about these items.
So, okay, so I got a question on procedure.
The same number.
So, let's say, something like those scuba or the tasers, right? One of the things that we learned from the budget presentation is that those are all on a particular life cycle.
Yes.
So, have we accounted for the replacement of those, or would that wait until the authorization of the purchase of them, then create a replacement schedule?
Well,
Does
you
that-
could
does-
probably answer
That
that.
makes
Lane
sense.
and Craig, bro.
I do apologize, I couldn't hear you.
Better
So,
ask them that
I guess,
way.
here's what my question is. So, things like your scuba gear, right?
Yes.
How often does that have to be replaced?
Every 15 years.
Every 15 years. The tasers have to be replaced
We're looking at every 5 years.
every 5 years. So my question is, if we buy the scuba gear and we buy the tasers this year, have we built into the budget that 15 and 5 year, or do we wait until we purchase them and then build the replacement budget? Because I guess my frustration is, if we know in 5 years he's gotta have new tasers, why are we not instead of it becoming a crisis, let's budget it.
And have a
Well-
carryover
And
until
yeah,
5
every year we
years.
put a little toward it.
We put a little carryover
And then we don't
for
have
5
to
years.
beg for gear that they
Okay,
clearly need.
Let me answer. The answer is that when we buy them, we have to pay cash, okay? Because we're not leasing them or whatever, those would be alternatives. However, for sake of argument, let's say that we pay cash for those. I put them on the asset list, I depreciate over time. Now, once we know what that is, then I can build into the budget next year, or possibly even this year, revise it, to set aside dollars to do exactly that. But I don't know what that number is, therefore, ergo, I can't put that in the budget until I know what the number is. So
I guess,
but-
arguably, we
but-
would purchase them first and then create a plan for them, going forward.
Well, we
Effective.
implement the plan. Yes, yes.
Okay, Brian, I'm sorry, did I
That's
interrupt?
okay.
No.
Brian, on these SCBA's,
Blaine.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
He'll answer.
Sorry, wrong name. Is there a leasing program for these?
There is not.
Okay, this is
No,
why
that's
we
all
have to
personal
buy them
protective
with
equipment,
cash.
so there is no leasing to it at all.
And
So
if the
here's
cost
the-
is, I'm sorry, if the cost is low enough, like 15,000 or something, we don't wanna lease that. Because they're going to, every lease has an imputed interest of around 12%. So we want to pay cash for those.
So here's a quick reference from the notes that I had taken during that council meeting too, Linda and everybody else. They have a 15-year lifespan. The departments are 18 years old now, and they're out of compliance on the hazmat trailer
That's
itself.
correct.
So there's a big liability for that, right?
That's correct.
Already, so.
Is this enough? You have more than 6 people on your staff.
What it is we outfit it for the hazmat trailer, because it's a regional response trailer. We do it for the first 6 people that go in. So the 2 entry team, the 2 backup, and the 2 people in decon. So that's what the rest of the trucks will come in as a follow-on, so we'll have plenty of apparatus or SCBA at that point, but for the initial crew that goes out there, they need that on the truck. And that's why, yeah.
Basically, the ambulance in the car.
So that's for
And
the.
that's exactly,
Thirty.
yeah, that's exactly right.
Thirty.
The
That's
follow-on
for the-
units will bring SCBA to it, but, for our first group that goes out, in order for them to make an entry into a hazmat incident, yes, they would need, like I said, I know I fell into this, and when I looked at them, I said, those are 18 years old, we can't even be putting those on your back. If something goes wrong, we are, yeah.
Huge.
Now-
Yes, sir, we're taking a huge
Now,
hit.
when all of your folks go out to do entry, and we've got engineers and entry people, every one of those has an
Yes.
SBA.
Yes.
So is it in working condition for all those folks?
Yeah, so the ones that are on our truck right now, within 2 years, all of ours need to be replaced. So that's one of the things that we're looking at now.
So you're
because,
looking at-
yeah, we're at 13 years with the ones that are on the vehicles, and 18 years for the ones that are basically on the hazmat,
Yeah.
or trailer.
Are we looking at staggering those possibly too for the future?
We
If
had actually
can?
talked about that. I'm glad you brought that up. We had made a comment about, picking up 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, or 6 here, 6 here, yes. So,
Yes, because what we're going to implement is we're gonna start the capital improvement plan, or the CIP, over, because we have new people, new needs, new insights and everything. So we will be putting these future ones, building that into that 10-year plan, and that's a revolving 10 years. So 1 year drops off, we add another year. So yes, we are
Right.
going to be diving into that quarterly.
You
I
know,
just would rather pay it 36,000 every year if
Sure,
need be
versus-
instead of 90,000.
right.
You know, 'cause
One of the
we
big
need-
things is that, I'll just tell you from my standpoint, we'd love to have them bought all at once because the service life and that stuff is all the same.
Mhm.
Okay, however, because it's smarter to do it exactly what, like you said, a little bit at a time, I'd have no problem, you know, like over the next 3 years replacing,
Yeah.
that
and-
equipment, yeah.
And
So,
that's where I have to look at the cash flow, what's coming in, cash going out. And that's why I would prefer to stagger them so they don't all go bad at one time. We had to
Right.
increase or purchase a lot of laptops and computers because they were 10 years old. Oh my gosh, how can you operate on that? How can you have a monitor that old? So it has so been abandoned, the infrastructure, meaning in here, that we've had to do that. The problem is when you buy a new house, you buy all new appliances, they all go out at the same time. I want to stagger those, so now I have to figure out how do I stagger those computers. So I want to stagger all of these capital items, including cars and everything. How do we stagger it so that we have a prudent plan and we're not spending all this money out at one time? We want to plan for that, and that's where that capital plan, we will start to figure out how much we need to set aside. One, to pay cash, when we want to lease it, and when we might want to do a lease purchase, and things like that. So that's, we've already discussed that. We just have to get through this budget, and then July 1st, that first quarter, we're jumping into that.
Yeah, we've been in such an austere, for the last 10 years, since 2008, so if
Yes.
anything new, it's a miracle to get people, so that's why you
Yes.
inherited what you did.
And-
And going back to the SCBA, I think this is no brainer, I think we have to get this.
So,
And I would like, if I may, just give you my philosophy on how to buy things. I cringe at the terms lowest hanging fruit or the cheapest. That provides no value. I would not want the cheapest surgeon doing open heart surgery. The cheapest tool is the most expensive because you have to keep buying it because it's cheap. What I'm looking for is value. Where does the value lie? And the example I give is I don't buy a Cadillac because I'm not going to pay for the name brand, but I don't want a Chevette either. I want to go middle of the road, and then that's where you're going to find the value. And then I ask everyone subjectively, it's pure subjective opinion, go one step higher. If you go one step higher and that difference, what you feel you're getting for those dollars spent, go the higher model. If not, stay at the middle. That's where your value is going to be. And that's where I ask them to look when they're looking for any type of equipment. Let's look for the value because that's going to last the longest. We're going to get the best value from that purchase. It's the wisest spending of those dollars. So that's just my philosophy on how to
Can I
approach
readjust my
that.
numbers then, because I'd like to go up to the next. I'm just- In all fairness, we were just looking at new SCBA's and the MSA, the mine safety appliance representative called me today. The new ones that they have, when I tell you it does everything. You look down, it's got a thermal imager on it. It tells you the temperature inside that you're at. I mean, it is ridiculous, but those are 12,000 a piece. And in my opinion, that's a lot of gadgets that can go wrong, and it's gonna be a maintenance nightmare.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
the
a Cadillac.
Honeywells that we can get are between 4,000 and 6,000. 6,000 is pretty much standard with shipping. They have everything that we need, and we also have the ability to service them in station. So that's a huge.
Would you say you went for the value?
Absolutely, yeah. We took the model that we have right now because they have worked very well and they've stood up over time, and basically went into their newer model. Yeah.
So I'm
yeah.
gonna,
Anyway.
I think when we all feel like pretty strong about something, I'm just gonna highlight it in yellow, and then should we just keep going down the
I think
list?
that's a
and-
good
And
idea.
then,
That's
and
a-
then
yeah.
let's see where we end up.
DFIBs, where
I will go.
are those, what was the plan on the DFIBs?
I thought it was.
At the end of this year, ma'am, all of our AEDs,
Oh,
right,
okay,
are out of
thank you.
service. They're
They're dead, they're
yes.
gone.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't even use them anymore.
Okay.
And that's,
I don't know which one.
yes.
So Blaine, with that,
Yeah, because if
I-
you don't take them out of the thing, they do.
Blaine, you
something.
said you were gonna add 2 more into there for the rec center possibly?
Yes, matter
And
of
then
fact-
there was also talk about, finding out through the whole city, all city buildings, how many would need replaced.
And you know something? Yeah, I mean, I can definitely look into that. We have a new representative from Stryker, which is a really big medical, group. And they are now doing a big buy on AEDs. It was something that, when I tell you that happened yesterday, so we were talking to them about, hey, send me out and tell me what you guys can do. And obviously, might be able to beat the bid that we have here for them, so.
So
But
we'd never
if we-
found out.
I actually have
What's
it.
that?
We
How
never
many
found
there were?
out through the whole
I didn't know
facilities.
where to plug it in.
I did not, no.
But,
Cause I know that was a talk that it was supposed to be found out how many was through all facilities.
It would have to be basically whoever is in charge of each one of the facilities, whoever the
Yeah.
building manager is. If they give me a number, how many they have in there, that's fine, but unless you want me to walk around and check.
No,
it.
no, no,
Yeah.
I'm not.
You know what I'm saying, I'm just kinda like, yeah.
No, I know. I
We were
just
definitely
thought-
talking about, setting up the rec center for theirs.
They only needed the 2 at the rec center.
Right, because the police department also has some that they're offering to us
Right.
that are used, but I believe the ones that Blaine was talking about are gonna be specific to the rec center.
Yes,
And this is
So-
life-saving equipment too,
Yes.
so that's,
yes,
why I
ma'am,
give
yeah,
a high
this is
bar.
basically if somebody goes and has cardiac arrest, we put it on and we shock them
Yep.
and that kind of stuff, yeah.
So 10 for you and 2 for the rec center.
What's
Or
that?
8 for you
Oh,
and 2 for the.
No,
rec
we
center.
actually needed 11. I did not, once we talked about it,
Oh.
I didn't have access to this to up the 2, so if you will, that'd be 13.
13.
Yeah.
where?
So
So
it'll
I
be
would vote
20.
for a highlight on that one.
Yeah, me too. And 20,000 for 13, is that?
I think we can still do 20,000 for,
Somebody
yeah,
do
I wouldn't see,
Okay.
Maybe we can get a good deal somewhere.
and that's what I'm saying, and by the way, with this new guy, I think we
Yeah,
can too, because
that
he
might-
seemed really like, let's do some business, so I'm like, yeah, tell
I
me
don't-
what you can
yeah.
give us.
I don't wanna get in the weeds with
Yeah.
that, but I think maybe in the future with your safety committee and
Yes.
stuff, it might be something to look into for all buildings.
We absolutely can. We can get a list of basically every building and how many they have. That's not an issue at all. That's
Yeah.
kind of why we're setting up that program. So
Yeah.
we have information like that on hand. So I don't want to get too much in the weeds neither with my stuff. I know we got a lot to go. So.
I think it's really important to have that available in all of our city buildings.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
I
we
agree.
deal with the public, but we also have employees we need to take care
That's
of.
correct.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna move back.
I'll stick around for
So
the-
for me, I would just move to the police from there. I mean,
Yeah, you
to
gotta
me, I would
do
highlight
this.
those 2 and then I would move
Yeah,
on.
you don't need to-
Well,
That's just my thought.
I
We need
kind
to
of want
touch
to
on
know
this.
what's wrong with the garage door, and I want some kind of feeling for how drastic that is.
This has been on their capital budget now for, this will be the 4th year. The building that houses our hazmat trailer is just basically a storage shed. There's no heat, there's nothing in it. And
Is this
basically,
one over by the prison?
no, it's the one that's over in our training facility.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at where Station 2 is at, look directly down
East or west?
west, yes, and that's the building right there. So, there's no insulation, there's no heat, and it's kind of, let's put it this way, to have all your hazmat equipment sit out there, with no heat, but, so we've been running basically little space heaters and stuff to keep it, and it has been working. But if you will, that's kind of something that I inherited, the garage door and the operator, I think we need to do that all manually because it just doesn't work now.
Sounds like
They've
it's
tried-
been on for 4 years though.
What's that? Yes, sir. It's been on there for quite some time. I guess they could not find a contractor to come out there and do the work. That was the last that I heard on it, so
That's very possible.
well, yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I understand it. They've got smaller jobs they're looking
I
at.
think that's a pretty high-end piece of equipment that sits over there, and I mean, if it needs heat, it needs heat, right? That's my feeling on it.
I'd like to leave it in for now, and, but I also want to know about the fire repeaters.
Yes, ma'am. Do we have, Amy, can you help me out with any information on the repeater?
Yeah.
Her and I have
It's a
been
thing that
kind of-
does stuff.
So we are in final negotiations on the lease regarding that, to update that. The county, I believe, has just revised theirs or approved theirs. And ours is just a matter of agreeing to the contract and presenting it to council. Alan's been working on that. Fire department's been working on that for over a year.
Why do we need a repeater for Rollins?
So.
We have a tower that's, what, 60 foot high, 10 feet from a fire station?
I
And we
agree.
need a repeater.
It was the same question that I asked when I came in. I said I thought that's what this was for. So basically, we get any mutual aid responses that leaves from Rollins, say, to go to like encampment. We won't be able to basically have radio contact and that stuff with the other group. Repeaters will boost that so that we will.
And WyoStar doesn't work for that?
I'm sorry, sir?
And WyoStar does not work in that case?
I couldn't answer that question. I'd love to, but I don't know.
I think the issue with WyoStar was the increase. They were looking at a substantial increase.
Okay.
But that's third hand.
I thought that was,
Say WildStar or WildLink?
Oh, WildLink, sorry.
Of the two here.
Yes.
Which is more important, that garage door or the fire repeater?
Fire repeater's been going on for a while, but I'm not quite sure how that's gonna work itself out. So, I mean, I'm not the expert in, because I've had such little background on it, and I do apologize for that. It's just one of those things that have been in the works for quite some time. I don't know. What do you think over there?
I would say communication between your emergency services is paramount, especially when you have those MOUs and cooperating agreements with them.
I have,
So let's leave it in.
thank you. My ticket, she's awesome, isn't she? So,
And I could probably
now.
give a brief on the WildLink. WildLink is a state-run antenna system, whereas not all county or like fire service especially
would be
their radios aren't even capable to reach WildLink, and so they require that repeater. And if they're gonna switch over to WildLink, it's gonna cost them a lot of money just to buy all those portable radios to increase that. And that's where just a little background for mine. That's where
no, I appreciate that, because like I said, you know, I'm still in that
I
learning
think
phase
we
too right
talked
now,
about
so,
this
yeah.
last year or 2 years ago. We
Yeah,
talked about the
Okay.
fact that, the radios wouldn't be able to work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'd have to replace radios.
I think it's high enough, we should leave it in there. And it's negotiated in leases, or, I mean, we're too far along to cut it.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for
I'll
sharing
I'll move to the back.
Hey, now
We're just having fun.
yeah, now the other guy can do it. He's not gonna have fun.
Hey, now you
Look at him.
Let's make this work.
Yeah.
So I guess what I remembered about the vehicles was that it was getting tired, but it wasn't tired. Right?
Our vehicles?
Yeah.
They are very tired, yeah.
If I may, on the vehicles, and I know I'm gonna get tarred and feathered for this,
Huh?
but because I would like to set up a fleet program where we look at the age of all of the vehicles and where they are, see if we can cascade, or we get rid of them when they're at their peak, they go to auction, so we get maximum money back. I would request that no vehicles be approved at this time, but let me develop some of that and come back early in the year and then ask for an amendment.
I can
That-
tell you.
that would be my
In
request.
visiting with a car dealer today that, just recently Chevy and Dodge both have done away with their fleet program temporarily. They can't produce vehicles fast enough, and so there is no fleet.
Yeah, what I'm talking
advantage.
about is
No,
not
I know,
not
I
that.
understand what you're talking about, but I'm just saying if we order these, and we order them like government-wise, we're not gonna get them anyway. Because Chevy and Dodge have just in the last few days put a hold on those, because there's a shortage of vehicles. If you drive past the Chevy or Dodge dealer, you'll see that they don't have any. So they're prioritizing, customers, because they get full price, over the fleet, so we might not get them if we order.
Okay.
That's straight from a good
And then
source.
I wanna ask the concern I have when you lease or something, these like for like the K9 and stuff is kind of a specially equipped vehicle, so what would be the return rate on that, I mean, when you're doing a trade-in at that point in time, where we at least would have the equipment to swap back over to upgrade to another vehicle in the future if needed?
What I would like to look into to answer that question, is look into a lease purchase program. I did this with J.P. Morgan Chase at another location, and I took $150,000 and bought as many vehicles as I could with that. We had a $450,000 lease purchase, and I rolled it over, had to spend money at a specific time, and I was able to do that. And it's rotating. It's that rotating that makes the cash flow where we can do it without taking money from reserves. I took $150,000 from reserves to get that program going. And so that's why I would like to create a fleet program here, which I did with another colleague at the same place, and design that so that we know when we're going to replace what vehicle when. We prepare for that, but we need to be very careful. We do not want to pay cash for everything. That is, we need to leverage that cash. If we pay cash for everything, what it does is we today are giving future generations a really nice present because they don't have to contribute towards this. So we need to be comfortable with a certain amount of debt, and this would be one where we do lease purchases. And like I said, if we get a car that's a lemon, we get rid of it. It's a money pit. And if we decide what criteria defines when it is at its peak, because that's when we can sell it for the most money, we take that money and that goes back into this lease purchase where we keep rotating. And so that's what I would like to set up this next year.
So something with like a lease, like
The bank-
dealer or
the
something
bank
like that,
holds
like
the title.
wills and stuff like that?
No,
or
the bank holds title to it. We pay cash, we get the title. This is for the first round. We pay cash, we get the title. The bank reimburses us. They hold the title, and then we pay it off through the lease at a low interest rate. And then we buy the next vehicles, same thing. And the bank holds the lease, and at the end, we own the vehicle. But it's a way to maximize and leverage the dollars that we have to get more for what we're paying out each year. Because we need to spread that cost out towards the expected life of that vehicle. We need to match that up. And so this is a way where we manage cash flow, so we're not equipment or vehicle rich and cash poor. Does that make sense? So that's what I'd like to end up doing.
Well, I think that's admirable. I don't want to have vehicles in our fleets now that they're aged out, they're 100 or over the magic number of mileage. So I guess how many vehicles are on this list,
I don't
Jody?
know,
And
but that's-
which ones are the most dire to get?
I don't know, but that's what you start with, is you prioritize which gets replaced first.
Yeah, and we usually buy our vehicles twice a year after the November monies come in. And then after the first of the year, we start looking at what we need for vehicles so we can get it in before June 30th. So, I think doing a fleet thing is fine. I have no problems leasing, but I don't want to penalize anybody on their equipment.
Yeah, so my thoughts on this, like as we're listening to PD and different people going through this with vehicles, if it is urgent or it's like we need to do this now, let's go for it, and then we can implement this too, just right after. So I'd like to hear from them too.
If we could design what the criteria that makes it an emergent situation rather than a strong need or a want. I need to make sure that it's really,
Does it have to be replaced today, or can it wait 6 months while
Exactly.
we work with the program?
Yep.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, we're not talking 6 years, but.
Well, I was
Exactly.
wanting to know timeline is no more than 6 months.
That
on
would
your
be
fleet.
reasonable.
Okay.
Here's my concern with at least our two K9 vehicles, is that they're 2011 SUVs, and they're not just a normal lease vehicle. They're not a work utility vehicle. They're a police package, pursuit rated, that have extra safeties and to go with our vehicle operations, emergency vehicle operations. And so we have to outfit all those vehicles with equipment, and then we do an upgrade with those as well. And so depending on the mileage is where we run into that problem. But these vehicles here aren't just a regular police package vehicle. They carry canines in them too. And currently they're getting to end of life because they have many hours, not just mileage. We're 120,000 on Joel's vehicle, and the transmission slipping. When he comes to a stop sign, it's a hard hit to that transmission, and so we're end of life for those vehicles. And the concern that we have is that the minute we leave that dog in the vehicle and some things to go haywire, whether it be electrical or heat or air conditioning, then that dog's life is in jeopardy too. So I would really strongly suggest that we, as far as my take on it, is that we move forward with these vehicles.
I would be willing to yield to a degree on that. I just want to make sure that with all of the vehicles that are requested throughout here, that we do it prudently.
Do they have a lease program specifically for police vehicles like this? Specific style?
The one I did with JP Morgan Chase started with police vehicles.
It did.
Did it have the K9 options as such that's in here for the?
What the lease purchase is just the dollars. It's not the individual vehicle.
They don't tell you what to buy.
Right.
Oh.
So you just get a canine police car and
Yeah,
If that's what you
they
want.
understand what
Or
that
you get
implies.
one for whoever. They don't care. It's the dollars.
And how many? We have 2 K9s
We do, yeah.
currently.
And they're our oldest vehicle and in fact we've replaced other vehicles in lieu of the canine vehicles, knowing that it was going to be a little more expensive just because of the equipment for the dogs.
And from a liability perspective, I fully support this remaining on the capital if the council can make it happen. You look no further than the city of Casper and what they've experienced, and it's something that the city of Rollins doesn't want to even.
Can you?
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to tell the story now.
Yeah,
Tell me what
elaborate.
I'm talking about.
Casper had a issue with one of their canines in the vehicle, and the canine died because of it. And so there's some liability that we don't want to get into with the dog and our handlers to make sure that they're supported in the equipment that they have for them.
That's an officer. K9 is not just a dog; it's an officer. So,
Yeah, Chris, it's not only about the mileage. The mileage is one thing, it's the amount of time that truck is consistently running.
That's what I said, it's not the mileage, it's the hours that consistently runs.
Are you asking for any other vehicles besides these two?
Not under police administration. No, we have a carryover for animal control. We already have 55,000 budgeted this year for that. We just need 10,000 more for the equipment side of that to put. So that's all we're at. That's that carryover.
So are we at a point where we are carrying, or we are at that one?
So we're gonna move our radios over, but that's about it because we're transitioning. When we take a police canine vehicle, they'll actually build a kennel that fits inside of it.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Do you have another unit that you can move these into that's a better unit until they can get the leasing going?
No, I don't.
So currently all of our, so when you look at like canine vehicles versus other vehicles, when we, police package vehicle, you typically, the base package is just in the front. And so all the SUV cars that you see, you drive around, the black and white cars, the Ford SUVs, the only air conditioning is in the front. And so, and so you have to order that police package vehicle with the rear air to it, so you can provide that air to the dog kennel.
That makes sense, that actually.
And you said it would take you 6 months to get the program rolling?
To begin to isolate the most urgent is, I would think that would be fairly reasonable.
What's the earliest that we can actually order these vehicles if we approve it? Would it be about
It
the
would
same
have to
time
wait
frame?
until after July 1st. otherwise it's on this current year.
And what I would tell you too is that they typically only make police package vehicles, whether it be Chevy, Ford, or Dodge, twice a year. And so we want to get on that first list right away.
I
Yeah,
feel
believe we
strongly
said
enough
this.
about it to leave it as our number one. Leave it on there.
So I've got
And
it
if we
in-
need to
in yellow.
lease them out, then that's fine, but at least leave it on
Yeah,
there.
you go right around.
As long as
there.
it's breaking down.
It's
legitimately.
a hard punch, dropping from second to first gear. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're designed to travel 125, miles an hour, and we definitely, and perform.
It's okay for
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Which one
And
keep carrying
then-
us through, Linda?
Pardon?
Want to keep carrying us through?
You want, well, he's here now.
Oh,
I'll
yeah?
leave that up to
Mayor, do you want to
Mayor.
lead us through each one here?
Continue.
No, you're doing
No, I'm
fine.
good.
Okay, go on.
All right.
Well, handguns is next then.
Yep. Handguns.
Handguns.
So,
Yeah, this is,
go, yeah, my question was, did you figure out a buyback program for the old ones yet, or trade-in?
yeah, so we will have a buyback program. We'll see a little bit come back from that. But again, we can't go to them, until they get our inventory, they won't know that, because each pistol would be a different buyback.
Yeah.
Depending on just, amount of use on where they look at, but,
Okay.
so yes, we're budgeted 44,000. We're looking to actually come in probably just a little bit less than that.
You're
Just because
requesting.
the.
It's not
or
budgeted,
requesting,
we're
yes,
requesting.
we're requesting the 44,430.
Yes.
But we would anticipate that would come in just below that because of the buyback program.
Can that wait a year?
I mean, potentially, I showed you a picture of, but I mean, I have a visual if you guys want to see. But you can see where they are completely rubbed, and you can see where they're actually broken near the bottom of the well, so. I
This
can
was also gonna
show
save
them.
money in the end with the cost savings on ammo also, right?
Yep, so we're looking at a transition to a 9mm, so our ammo cost per round would actually change and drop a little bit.
What would that add up to savings in a year
So
for
there,
ammunition?
we're, Joe figured up about 30% from our suppliers.
30% of what?
30% of cost difference between a 45 round and a 9mm.
And that is how many dollar bills?
I don't have that number.
Is it-
Because if it's 30% of $4,
Right, well, no, I mean.
you
we're-
understand what I'm saying?
Right. We're probably right around 30,000 in ammunition, for the transition and the training. So that's that cost, but if we stay 45, then you're increased by, 20, 25, 30%.
Okay.
How readily available is the ammo? Because I know the military gets first shot at it and there's a crunch on it, on the ammo.
Yeah, and
So-
there's a crunch everywhere, but we get on the list right away, and, we're already, seeing that ammo come in. We just got some ammo in for our guys to go to advanced firearms and
And you have
an
enough in
instructor.
reserves to last a period of what time?
Well, yeah, I don't know,
Cause I'm thinking if we have to order it,
yeah.
what would we need to do now?
Well, if this was approved, we have sufficient, to carry over until those came in.
And what time frame do you think that would be? Is there any estimate that you could make on?
Probably 6 months,
Okay.
9 months to get that ammo. Cause we're gonna switch to a 9mm, which is NTOA round, so
And what are
it's a
you
more
gonna-
common one.
What are you gonna do with the excess ammo that you won't use anymore?
Well, what we're figuring is that we're probably gonna meet that transition period where.
To run a dry.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
but if there is, left over, then we would be able
Sell
to
it to
trade
them.
that in and make the swap with the company, so.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm in the weeds. Amy, is it legal, like,
Yes.
so, is it the company you get the guns from that does the buyback?
Yes.
Is it legal for them to, like, could they sell it to the officers direct and then sell them the ammo that was, if this all went through, can they just sell those direct to the officers if they wanted?
The
You mean the guns
buyback,
they have now?
the buyback
Yes,
program
yes.
for the guns, they would give law enforcement the first option to do that buyback.
So Saratoga's going through the same thing right now, and they actually, I just talked to one of their council members the other day, and he said that that's the route they were going, right? The first route is officers have a choice to buy it.
Oh, good, okay.
And as I understand, of course, my husband's we check on ammo weekly,
Mhm.
but I think law enforcement and military are given high priorities for ammo. And so I think, while it's tough to get right now, I think in about a year, maybe that'll lay off for a while,
Mhm.
or kind of dwindle down on the need. I think we're just in a change of administrations that caused everybody to go wacko. Anyway,
That's one way to put it.
well, anyway, so I think that guns are a high priority with me. I think we need to keep our officers safe. It's a safety issue with me. Ammo is definitely, you need it. You can't do your job without it. So it's a high priority with me. I don't know how it else feels, but I'd leave it.
Well, I
in.
guess my question would be, I mean, if you had to choose between switching to your handgun or the taser replacement, I mean,
I thought the taser replacement had to happen.
Well, that's a,
it's kind of what
we're,
I'm.
right, we're out of warranty, so if there was, so we have two currently where they're end of life, and unusable, and so we can't trade those in because we don't have the warranty with Taser International or Axon to go through and replace those. And so while we're equipped on the training and liability side, because we have officers that are instructors in that, just the warranty process is backed up.
I guess my thoughts.
And in the tasers, we already have 34,000 as a carryover. For
Okay, so that one is all right then.
So
Well,
I'm just-
we're requesting the additional 41 to replace all those.
I think it was talked with the tasers too, that there was a lease program that would, every 5 years, you just get a new, at that point in time, right?
Yeah, and that's,
Is that-
and we talked with that with Jody, and she had recommended that we just buy them now and then develop that into our 5-year program.
So that wouldn't be part of your lease?
I think the cost was
You wouldn't want the
$15,000 a
lease?
year.
I'm sorry?
You wouldn't want
Something
this
like
on a
that,
lease
and
program?
I'm just
For
thinking
what dollar
it's
amount?
41,000 extra right
Well,
now that you're asking.
41,000.
With the 15,000 a year with the carryover, you could already start.
Oh,
with
That was, I
what
had
I'm
a really,
thinking.
really
Right.
good interest rate. It's
Yeah.
just not worth it.
So, yeah, so they would probably have a higher interest rate because of the size.
And so in the end, that's really less what we just decide, do we budget them the money?
Mhm.
And then they go out and decide whether they're gonna lease them or buy them.
I think that's where we're at.
So,
But to me.
but that's what I'm saying is now they're asking for the carryover, or they're asking for the 41,000, right? They already have 34 in there. If they don't need that 41, if they're going to a lease program with 15,000, because they already got twice the amount for a taser in that for the carryover.
Right, if we went to a lease program, we would wanna move that to a contract services and just keep that in there.
And that was the point that was attractive, I think, to go into a lease program, is because they take care of them, right?
Right.
And if we bought them outright, they don't.
Right, well, yeah, at 5 years they're done, so.
So that is something that we can consider. However, let's say you budget the tasers are, 41,000 plus the 34 carryover, so that's 76,000.
Now, I thought you have 41,000 here, Jody. With the
Yeah.
Well, you have the
carryover.
41,325 plus the
41.3.
carryover of 34, so you have to add those together.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I didn't know.
So the carryovers, just for your information, a technical point, at the end of a year, whatever general fund does not spend goes back into the reserves. That's why we have these carryover amounts to carry over, and it's in addition to the 41,000.
See, and I didn't read it that way, so I'm glad you
Yeah, I didn't do
So
that.
with this then, because I think the way, I can't find my dang notes on it, sorry, but I think the way I had the notes wrote down, it was about equal to that 75,000 for a 5-year lease, right? Or whatever, so at that point in time, if that was budgeted in, would this, and they did go to a lease program, could it be carried over every year through that
What I would
for
do-
the lease program?
What I would do is the first payment, I always do up front because you save a lot of interest that way. I would take whatever is left, cannot be used for anything else. That would have to collapse back into next year. And next year, we just put our budget at, let's say it's $15,000 a year. That 15,000 is what gets budgeted. Does that make sense?
So actually, we're looking at 75,825 cash or a lease program, and I opt for a lease program.
If it's going to be, because I don't remember what's what, if it's going to, they
It
will
was the
maintain
same,
them.
it's just,
Yeah.
you
As
pay
part of
one
their-
up front and one you funnel
Then
it
I
over.
would go.
But I
go
think
with
at the lease
lease.
program, the deal is at the lease program, everything's covered at that point in time with everything, right? And it wasn't.
Sure,
When-
but I guess
if
I'm
we-
still
if we
arguing,
buy
we
outright,
just
we're good
allocate
for
the
5
money,
years.
they decide the lease or not. I don't think that's our business,
Yes,
is what
it
I'm
is.
saying.
Well, I think it is, because I think
we allocate
it's.
the funds
I
and
would
then they
have it-
spend it.
I
Because
would
it's whether we spend 15,000 a year or 75,000 this year. That's our.
And then you put 15,000 a year in a replacement, so then in 5 years, you buy the 75 again. I mean, it's the same
Well,
thing no matter
I'm
what.
just thinking, from my knowledge, that's why I'm asking these, right? From my knowledge, it makes me make a more conscious decision on how much to budget. You see what I'm saying? If I wanna say, I would be okay to budget 75,000, or if I think 15,000.
One of my concerns, if I may, is that we don't have the lease. We don't know exactly what it's going to cost, and therefore I don't have a known amount to put in there. I would recommend, if you're okay, put the amount in there, but like I say, if we go to lease, these capital items, they can't use that for other stuff. That, once we go to that lease and it's less than what they have here, that just flows through and collapses back into the general fund, and when we have that known amount, next year it will be for that lease amount.
But we can always amend it, Jody, if we have to, if you decide to go on a lease and we go along with it, then we can amend that to decrease that line item. So I don't think it's a big deal, let's just.
But if we're gonna go for at least the 34.5, that's a carryover now, will for sure cover a 1-year
Yeah.
lease, so we don't need the 41.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I was at where.
Yeah.
But I don't
So-
know if it's vetted enough to.
How
make that
many?
lease
How much is one at this point in time? Estimated cost, and you said you have to replace 2. So estimated cost. I didn't see that.
I thought there were like 5 apiece, weren't there? Or 6?
Yeah.
So my thought then is this: like, if they only have to
3,500.
35, if they only have to, if there's already a carryover, then right of the 34.5, then if we don't budget the net excess in, that carries over, then they already have enough to replace. Would have enough to replace what exactly they need to replace the exact need of the ones that's out of date at that time, or they could option into that lease too with the amount that's carried over.
I guess I don't disagree, right?
That's-
Like, I'm just
so-
saying,
so-
I would just either argue
What
to leave it or not, and then get the
Okay,
details.
what do we wanna do? Do
I
we wanna
don't-
leave 75
What I would
in
tell
there,
you is
just
that
leave it
the
in there?
new tasers are different than what we carry now. And so the cartridges that interchange is gonna be a problem, because one guy's gonna carry a different one and we want those. When we go to order all the cartridges and things like that, we want those to be the same.
I understand that, I do. I think my preference, this is just me, I think we just carry over the 34.5 and not budget the rest right now.
And I rather just budget the rest, and then if we have to put it back in the budget or amend the budget, then we can do that depending on how it's handled. But at least, I mean, I think they need tasers, that's the bottom line. And how that's done, you know.
I guess I'm leaning, the reason I asked you, to me, I would probably go for the taser since they're completely out of service. I realize, I mean, there's only so many things that can replace, right? I get that the guns are worn out, but arguably, maybe they can last another year. We'll make it a priority next year to do that, deal with the tasers now.
I mean,
it's kind of where I'm.
If I'm gonna take the top three out of our capital projects, it would be the vehicles, the handguns and the tasers, and then the GIS, the feasibility study, and the wire. We would get those, for discussion. That would be my recommendation.
And
I can live with leaving all three for now.
I can leave it, but I would take out the feasibility study and put it for next year on fire and police combined, because it's just.
Agreed. So he just said he would leave the top three as his priorities and then drop the other three for next year.
So that, okay, top three then, Lieutenant, is your
Like this.
K9 units, your handguns, and your tasers.
Yes, ma'am.
How, okay, is the GIS managed services, how crucial is that?
We've been running with the same map that's basically blank on our screen, and we have roads, but that's it. And the advantage to having GIS do it is that obviously we have a GIS contract shared with county, but her resources are limited in that. And so that was a
it would be really cool.
It would be nice to have, but if we're gonna look at liability, if we're gonna look at officer safety, the top three would be key for us.
What was the deal with the wire package you said though? I mean, I see it as 9,500, I know, but wasn't there something you already utilized another one or borrow, I guess, from?
Yeah. I mean, if DCI's is available, we can try and utilize that.
That's why I just was.
The one we currently have is 25 years old.
I wouldn't have a problem, just 9,500, I wouldn't even have a problem, just because.
Just leave it in
Yeah.
there.
I know,
Here's
you
a
walk
thought
into a
on
metal
that
building
is-
and it's gone, you know?
Okay, one at a time, please.
I think the thought, like I said, there is that if it's not available and they did need it, you know what I mean, and it's 9,500, I know it's, so.
No, and that's your undercover, right? That's for, I mean.
Yeah, we use those for.
I can see where that could be a very critical piece of equipment.
I would just,
You wanna leave a 9,500 in for the investigation?
Yes.
Okay.
So Sean, I think we've agreed to go ahead and yellow the wire as well.
Yeah, so we've got
The 9,500?
Yeah.
Yes, we've
Okay.
got the K9 units, the handguns, tasers, and then the wire package.
Okay, got it. Should we go into the next one?
Yeah, code enforcement, truck.
So again, that's where, if you want me to talk on it, you want?
If we go with the code enforcement officer, they also need a vehicle for the code enforcement officer, which is why that's here.
Okay, so one question, what timeline are you looking at for possible hiring if this is approved?
If it's approved, then we would get the position posted early July, and so, and probably a couple months after that, we could have someone and get a vehicle after that too.
So does it have to be a new one, new vehicle?
Do we have a
trade-in? I mean, they're
Is
Or
there,
obviously
spare.
not gonna leave town,
is
or
there
they
one that
shouldn't.
can cascade down to this?
Use one of the canine vehicles.
That's what we were just discussing over here, is one of those two K9 vehicles accessible would be feasible for, at least for a year, right? To get through this if a new code enforcement officer is budgeted.
He doesn't need a transmission to yell at my weeds.
Yeah.
I think the vehicle takes over a year to even build, it sounds like, right?
Well,
You gotta get on the
code
list.
enforcement is not gonna be a police rated package, so it's gonna be just a
It
standard
could be a
work,
SUV or
work truck.
something.
We would recommend a truck just because, our current code enforcement, he stops, just on the side of the road and puts stuff in the back of the truck and takes it to the dump, so.
And so this would be something that we'd have Jody put on the fleet list. Is that correct?
If that's
Yeah.
ready to go. I was just thinking a hand-me-down vehicle just to get through if that a position's approved. That's what I was thinking.
I mean, they're not gonna leave
If
town.
you're gonna hire the first part of July, then our canine vehicles would not be readily, I mean, we're talking 6-9 months before
Yeah,
they're.
Terry, we have bought used vehicles in the
What's that?
prior years.
No, that's what I'm saying, he's saying take our canine,
we've
our old
switched
canine,
out
or.
a city manager's car, bought him
Okay.
something, and, you know, we've transferred things around. But I think our fleets are pretty old, and I find,
Well, I'm just telling you.
We do not
to
have
buy
a
new
extra
vehicles
vehicle
right
for
now.
law enforcement,
Yeah.
because they're all
You
pursuit
can
rated.
believe me or don't
police
have to,
package
but
vehicles.
drive around and look at the
His
car
is-
lots.
His is just a standard.
And
work
I was
truck.
watching an online auction today, we were buying some cars, and things are anywhere from 3,000 to 9,000 over manufacturers resale
Yep.
on used stuff, and the new stuff is non-existent.
so where's all
And they've
this
canceled all the fleet,
stuff?
so they do this about, these car manufacturers do this. They did it in the early 80s, they did it one time since then.
Supply and demand.
Well, what they do is they get too many cars, so they just don't produce them. But go drive past your franchise dealers today. Quality Motors has more cars than both franchise dealers do. They can't get them. And the auction, I was watching the auction today, and there's no end in sight for this. It's going to be at least a year before they start turning back on the fleet services and stuff like that. That's
So what I've seen stuff pop up on Facebook, those social media, where they show thousands and thousands of SUVs and other vehicles in lots. Is that in the United
it's a
States?
wonderful picture.
That's all.
That's
just
all that
fake
is.
news?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you, go talk to young Emil, go talk to Kevin. The new cars are,
Lots of them
they're
there
gonna
for
be
a
tough
while.
to get.
Yeah.
It's and the price of a used is out the roof.
Real quick, Sean, do we have any vehicles that he could use if we hired someone? I mean, it doesn't have to be new, right?
The best person to answer that would be Danielle, because she has most of our vehicles.
Do
We're asking if there's a loaner, if we can't get a vehicle immediately for code
I
enforcement.
already have a shortage. We just recently got a request from another department, and I'm trying to find unique, creative ways to give them a vehicle to use, so I absolutely we don't have anything extra.
Okay.
So that's helpful.
I even have the one that Sean's using now. When he gets his new vehicle, that one is already slated to go to somebody, and so.
So we're tied up
Sorry.
pretty good.
Okay, so we don't have any spares, so
Yeah,
either we do one of these or a used one.
or yeah.
Should we go for
I-
a used one, Darryl?
I like the idea of the use and then let her get the plan. I like the idea of doing the big lease option for all vehicles, personally.
So,
But this is all dependent on a code enforcement position.
yeah. So we could lower this amount then for a used one, if that's what you all would like to do.
You can
Maybe that
buy
makes sense
used
for now.
ones that still have warranty on them for half of that.
Maybe we could plug in 30 to
30,000.
save
30.
30. Is that okay? Should we go
30,000 buy a really nice
Okay,
truck.
plug in
I mean,
30,000
Sean, already you might
for-
truck.
2012 Dodge with
So
100.
53.
With like 89,000 miles,
And
so
then
just paid 85.
I'll put it in yellow for now, and then
Yeah.
if we decided not to do code
12,
enforcement, we just take this off.
Has less than 100,000 miles.
Yeah,
And what
yeah,
we
it was
would
85.
And
have-
and
Bought it for
The
my
GSA
son. He
also
paid
has
it, but I might.
fleets, so you can buy from GSA.
I used to be a car dealer. I have friends.
the reason it was 50,000 is
GSA.
Well, I do.
Francis Administration.
and the equipment
Some of
that
them car
goes inside
dealers
the truck,
aren't, but
we need lights.
And we also
We
bought.
need-
They used to go to the
a
auction.
Radio,
Idaho,
we need to have
the
that.
Idaho
And I was the
fleet
guy,
plan and
one of the
they
guys
sell
that
some
look at a car
stuff,
and guess
some of
within
them 2-year-olds or 3-year-old
And
vehicles.
so just to outfit
I
that
would never
vehicle,
buy
Idaho.
ever
I don't know
personally.
what town it was, but we got it.
just
And in my fleet,
all this
Some good resources there.
when I sold out my newest vehicle.
Okay,
Okay,
do
so-
we all wanna leave that on there then?
Real
was 2
quick,
years ago.
he,
But I'm a
he
mechanic.
just
What's
explained that
Where are we at?
There's the equipment needed to go into the vehicle is about 15,000.
Probably, yeah.
That will need to go into the new vehicle.
So you-
So
Because we gotta have a lights package, we've got, for
For
him
code
to-
enforcement?
do we
Yeah.
leave it at the higher
Well,
amount? And if we don't use
They
it,
use the yellow amber
can do
lights
it
and things like that to.
So are you looking at the 30,000 used vehicle plus 15 for equipment?
Yeah,
maybe that's what
So we could do like 45 on here, and then it would
yeah, put
take
it
care of
down for
everything.
45,000 and that'll get the package and.
For code enforcement,
Okay.
Yeah.
15,000. Can you tell me what that equipment would be? Just, I can't imagine $15,000 of the equipment for a code enforcement officer.
So we're talking just stuff inside the truck, and
Like what?
so he's gonna have the MDT,
What's that?
computers.
Okay.
He's gonna have all the mounting equipment to it, to hold the computer in there. He's gonna have to have a lights package for him, the amber lights, and then he's gonna have to have all the decals put on the outside of the truck. And then the radio is a big cost, and that's, we're talking about $8,000 to $10,000 just to put a radio in there.
Okay. I didn't realize radios were that wrong. I know what light bars and all that
It's
are, but-
crazy.
And then the installation on,
Yep.
to go with that.
Should we go down to this animal control now?
Yes, we should.
Replace.
I have one question. I'm a little bit worried to ask it, but because I'm afraid it's going to be so far in the weeds. So if it is, we can shut this down. But
that's how we do things.
I guess my question would be: I'm not against a code enforcement officer. I've never understood why the need for a second one. I'm wondering why we wouldn't just want to invest more into an officer or something. It just seems to me like in a small community, one code enforcement just seems like enough. But
I think.
I mean, is
think
it trying to take responsibilities from things that's happening here?
Yeah.
Well, that's another discussion, I think.
Well, but I don't.
I'm just.
I think 5 years from now, once we have two and get caught up, maybe one would do, but there's a lot of stuff out there.
So maybe the argument is just to put effort behind getting it past a startup phase and into a production.
Right. 3 years from now, we might sit here and say we don't need to.
Now that we've done all of this work, let's go
But
ahead. Okay.
we haven't done this. I mean,
I just wanted to make sure that.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
I think we're 5 years behind schedule on some of that stuff.
I just wanted to get. I guess I was afraid to ask.
No, I totally understand. I had
We'll
the
move
same
it on.
thought.
I'm happy. I'm
No,
I
I do want to say I'm
I had
with you
the
though.
same thought.
I just am scared to spend money now and have to cut a position because it's not needed.
I think
Right. Well, and I get what this will bring. I mean, this is. I get it. I just.
Okay, so are we still all on board with
I
a
am on board.
second officer on code enforcement? Okay, then that means we have to do something with the truck, which we've lowered it to 45.
I'm a diabetic, I gotta
You
take
wanna
two.
cut it?
I'm not totally on board with the second code enforcement officer. I thought we were going to.
Needs to make a living too.
I'm not sure that this is a decision that has to be happened tonight.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying. Yeah.
At this moment, we're just trying to will it down to the
100%,
biggest
right? And this is
topics.
where I'm at. I get. Let's put this in there. Contingency to one being approved.
That's where I feel like.
Let's move on, guys,
Thank you.
because I think we got our answer. Animal control.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that if you add one, there's additional expenses to come.
Okay, so
Yes.
truck for animal control, does this go on the fleet list?
Do you want to tell us about this? Well, it looks like it's a super old vehicle.
It is,
for the
it's a
animal
1997.
control.
Again, we're end of life with that. We have the 55,000 as a carryover. That's gonna cover the cost of everything, installation, everything. The only thing that isn't is the radio, because our radio became end of life with it.
So then we need to leave that 10,000 in there plus the 55
Yep.
carryover?
Yep.
So
So we're just
65
actually-
is the actual number.
Yep.
Is
And
65.
that
And we're already
includes the new
budgeted
radio.
down. That would include the new radio.
At
And
65 or
installation.
55?
Yep.
That is literally order and put to the road for that.
Yes.
one.
Yep.
So that would
I,
go on Jody's
yeah.
fleet list?
I'm in agreement with this. It's only 10,000 added to what's carried over, and I do see the truck on a daily basis when I drive by there. It probably needs updated.
Yeah, my understanding is back in when it was built, the welding crew at the high school actually built the box, so.
I would like,
Pretty
yeah.
inefficient.
Okay, so I guess I'm hearing that we wanna leave it in there for 65,000. That's 55 carryover, 10 for the, attachments.
That's for overlays and stuff?
We got humane.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're on
humane.
streets. Okay, we're on streets.
Yeah, because
Oh, do you have anything else on streets that you wanna
I think
say?
so.
No, man, I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
On that $1 million for the street improvements, is that,
Danielle's gonna come.
that's the overlays and stuff, I take it?
Yeah, just ongoing maintenance of the streets on, according to their plan.
We have to keep that up.
Yeah.
We got so far behind. We were almost on dirt streets.
Yeah. Danielle, just before you start, just one question I was just thinking about. I know we had the 995 that was carryover, and then we have 1 million here, but we also have 1 million in the operating budget. So, are we asking for 3 million this year?
Where's the 1 million in operating?
Isn't it in your streets? I'll pull it up. Okay, go ahead.
Like, I don't remember
I'd
this.
show you, but I can't read yours any better than I can read mine.
Aaron?
Somebody got old. Oh, yeah, that's. I don't want to admit it yet.
We need to pull it out.
They're
So we need to
2.0s.
pull it out of the operating, and it will be here. So it's 2 million total.
I'm having a hard time biting on that.
I could start a fire with it.
Is this really? Is this okay, we're gonna pull it out of the operating. So this is really what we're looking at.
Okay, I was like, didn't think it was in operating. So.
Where's the new?
It is. It's in there, and we're gonna
Just
pull it
fixing the
out.
buckets?
You got it, see?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Danielle, do you wanna go for it?
Well, so, I mean, I feel like we talked about all of this stuff, so these are my requests. In order of priority, you guys can change however you want. If you have questions about them, let me know.
You're gonna tell us how to highlight, Danielle?
So that's ultimately 1.9, almost $2 million that you're asking. The 995 is carried over. It's already in the budget, carrying over to this.
So the
Next year.
995,000 has been awarded already. That is mill and overlay and some rebuilds that we're doing. And then the 1 million, what we would like to do is award a wear course project for this year. So yes, we are requesting the 2 million.
So the wear course is including the overlays and stuff, correct? Is that what you're talking?
It would be 2 different projects. The rebuilds and the mill and overlays for the 995 have been awarded. The 1 million would be completely new wear course overlays for this summer.
For new other places.
Yes, for additional outside of what's already been awarded in the 995.
And then all of this is still separate from the
6 penny.
the 6 penny
Yes.
awards where
This is a whole
that's
different
going out
deal.
and then refunding it.
So the 6 penny is the Walnut, Edinburgh, and then the YDOT 10% match. So that is pulled out separately. So yeah, I think that's a completely different, like,
Okay, so this is $1 million in addition to for other, okay.
yes, yes.
How many streets can be done?
I mean, I guess if anything,
Projected.
we
$1 million
go a little bit
Million,
higher.
we can do about 7,000 tons of streets, which would be, I believe it's about 30 streets,
I
depending on
think
length.
if we stay $1 million a
But
year,
what,
we'll
the next
catch
set
up.
of projects is
just
about
run it.
30
I was talking to
streets.
Steve.
Sorry, hold on.
Okay, he
I
called.
couldn't hear.
Okay.
And he was worried about, are we gonna scrap the workhorse or the overlays? And in visiting with him, I came to the conclusion $1 million a year is enough. So,
So basically, we're in a cycle, she's awarded, now she wants to have money in the budget to do the next, yeah, just keep.
Sorry,
it
go
going.
if we do $1 million a year, we'll end up with some nice streets.
So
We're
I was
going the
just-
right
I was-
direction.
Yeah, I was just asking Danielle, how many streets and everything, she was answering all that.
$1 million worth.
Now, streets is not an enterprise fund, right?
Streets is general fund. Yes.
It is super important to keep up on this because when you don't, and then you have to do reclamations, you're just, oh yeah, it's so
Well,
much
this-
more expensive. So it's worth spending money every
City
year.
used to not do that, and here a few years ago, they kinda implemented this. It's very noticeable, and it's going the right direction, and it's a good idea, and I think we need to keep going with it.
Thank you.
I'm not opposed to that, I was just
Yep.
asking the question of how many streets on that estimate, I know, understand length and stuff comes into play, but estimated, how many streets is done with this?
So it would vary based on length and width of the street. The million gets us in wear course, not, we're mill and overlay and all that's different, about 7,000 tons. So the next group of projects, it is, I believe, about 30 streets that we are anticipating to get done with the $1 million.
Wow.
And with those streets being redone, it's not other projects that's gonna have to be done with those streets the next year or after they're done too, right? So we don't come in and waste that money overlaying or.
So we are coordinating with Black Hills Source Gas, we're coordinating with our utilities department so that that doesn't happen. Now, I can never guarantee if my sewer backs up and my street was replaced, I can't prepare for that replacement. So there's always the possibility, on Walnut Street, it was overlaid and then they had a gas leak. They have to tear that up. So there's things outside of our control that we cannot anticipate and plan for, but everything that we can, we will.
Okay, that's what I'm wanting to make sure.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. We
Yes.
know it's coming up.
Yes.
We know, the known projects compared to the unknown, I get it.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
So, I'm good, just leave
I'm on
it.
board, I think it's a good way of going, and I agree with the mayor. Okay, dump truck,
Dump truck.
that's already ordered, correct?
Yes, it's actually potentially going to be here before the end of the budget, but I did request it carried forward just in case. I think it's going to be here in June.
So if that comes in, then this comes off the budget?
Correct.
And
Even if it comes in, as long as it's ordered this current year,
this restrict-
it will go on this current year's budget. So I can go up until about mid-March before I have to cut that off where I backdate it to the current year.
Mid-March or mid-May?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
You
you-
say March and I'm confused.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking calendar, I've been on that for 30 years, so bear with me. So it's July, August, September, about mid-September.
Mid-September. That's 90 days after July.
Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, that one, so then done deal, guys. Let's move on to new pickup truck with trade-ins. Where are you thinking this is in streets?
Yeah, so they actually have a truck right now that's parked because it has so many issues. I would have brought all my papers, but I didn't realize we were doing capital, so I apologize, but they're not using it. They're actually, this last summer, they borrowed a truck from landfill to do patching, so they are in desperate need of a truck. And we were going to trade that one in that's not being driven currently.
How dire is it to get one? Would this be something that could be put on the fleet?
I mean, we'll make it work. We've been making it work, but it is a need, definitely.
But you're doing streets mostly in the summertime, aren't you?
Is this just a regular pickup? Like, I
It-
mean, we
yeah,
just
it's
need
just
like
a- yeah.
I mean, is that the kind of thing that we could just go out and try and find like a $15,000 decent used truck that they could get by with? I mean, does it always have to be new? Is that just ideal?
We could go
I
use.
didn't hear what the
I mean,
Yeah, usually I go new just because experience, I don't wanna buy somebody else's.
I mean, it's a long-term thing, I guess,
Yeah.
but it just seems like we're always looking at $50,000 vehicles for.
One of the problems this year, Aaron, is the used ones are almost non-existent, I'm telling you.
No, I understand, I've seen it.
I've never seen it this bad.
No, and I
And
understand.
and I did it for 30 years.
And your money may go farther on a new one versus.
Well, not even that, but
I just-
the used ones are higher than they're supposed to be. The new ones are non-existent.
What about?
I mean, that's just a,
What
just
about
is.
a demo?
well, and you can, maybe, but they're bringing, I'm telling you.
They're bringing new prices.
They're
Bringing
bringing a
high
lot more
price.
than like if you look in the NADA book and you say, the retail price, you'll pay a hair more than that right now. Where normally you could buy them back of that.
Okay, what's your pleasure on the pickup, guys?
Now, if we need it, we need it.
Okay, you want to put it in there? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1.
You think, what do you think? Put it in, DeBarge?
Those Wayfinder things or something.
Yeah, she's telling us that she doesn't have a
Yeah, we're almost
replacement vehicle, so, okay, we'll
And
leave
you're
it
saying
in.
those are your top three, the truck, the bridge, and the steel roller.
What's a bridge?
So the 6th Street Bridge, we have not done any maintenance on. I actually can tell you 100% we will need more money than this, I just don't know how much. So this is to get an engineer to come in and really look at it and see exactly what it's going to take, give us some cost estimates for those repairs, and then in the 10-year plan, you guys will see either that budget or a phased approach to do some work there. But in my entire time with the city, we've not done anything to that, and in talking to staff who've been here longer, we've not done anything in their time either.
The last time we did anything was when Bruce Forquist was here, and,
Oh, we replaced the deck.
Yeah.
we did something, but
Yeah,
Kept
Bruce
people
Forquist
walking over the top.
exactly.
That was kind of
brought
important.
in a special program, and I can't remember what it's called, but Bear's looking at, but it's for, I don't wanna say, it's not farm to market money, but it's some other kind of thing. So if, maybe there's some records from when Bruce was here, but we got a lot of money to help on that way back when. So, but yeah, we
So-
haven't done anything with it for a while.
So
I say we do it.
Yeah,
So too, think it's pretty
I'm in
smart.
full agreement with the engineering phase here. I just am concerned, what happens if they tell us,
Condemn it?
yeah.
Deal with it.
That's better than it falling.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think we need to know, regardless of what they tell us. I absolutely hope that's not what they tell us.
Well, that thing don't look good
But-
underneath. I mean, there's chunks falling off onto the railroad tracks right now, right?
Now
But
that
I
we know
think
we
this
have
is the
liability.
first step. We need to know what we're dealing with. Cause what I don't want it
Last
to
time we
become
got
is
it.
an emergency and I have to come to you guys and be like, we have to do a major emergency amendment to the budget because we didn't plan or
$5
prepare
million
for this.
bridge to fix it, we
The
never
last
used.
time they looked at that, they said structurally. it
We
was
just need to
okay.
get ahead of it.
Was
Yeah,
marginal.
where the concrete and stuff was starting to fall apart, but the.
When was that, Debari?
Yeah.
Do you
know,
remember?
I can't remember, but that's what.
2 years ago, year
Yeah.
ago, 5?
That's the
More than
report we
10.
got when they.
More than
You
five.
know, we did have an inspection a couple years
When they
back.
rebuilt
Floor Quest was here.
So-
They did the side.
So that's been a while.
Yeah,
So I-
15, 20
Yeah,
years ago.
I got a question with this. How often is, what's required for that inspection of the bridge? I mean, cause the highway department has to inspect their bridge quite often, right? Like,
That's what we used.
I don't know.
So YDOT actually still does the inspections of this bridge. They did one a few years back. It's not been 10 years. I actually sent you the last one, but I don't recall the date on it.
I can't
So I
remember either.
can send it to you guys again, but it's been a couple years and YDOT does do the inspections on those currently. They have one of their engineers.
You know,
okay.
And Debari is right, the last, report did say that it was structurally sound. Again, it's a little bit scary to me, I think we need to address it.
Okay, so let's leave it in.
we
We're all
need to
in
address it
agreement.
through finding out what problems they have. I think, it's my take, is that if this care package passes, there's gonna be some money floating around. We need to be looking at that ahead of time.
And know what it
And that-
needs.
And that's what they're talking about. They're talking about bridges.
Ready to hit the floor running.
You
So,
bet.
so the 60,000 would be wise to spend for the engineering.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No question
Yeah.
about
Okay,
it.
we're all in agreement, we're gonna
And then
leave it
again, I
in.
need to ask, didn't the highway department do they went down and looked and seen if it was structurally sound? They didn't.
Yes,
Yeah, we didn't
YDOT.
hire an engineer.
No, YDOT did
Why
that.
did that?
Yes.
Why couldn't we do the same? That wouldn't work? Do we have to have an engineer look at it when we can get?
Yes, we are going to have a structural engineer look at this to determine what repairs need to be done. They'll also be able to give us a cost estimate and that way we can move forward through whatever funding, whether it be general fund or grant opportunities, but we need that information,
Yeah,
yes.
we would not be able to get
I wanna do
funding
it
without
right. I
it.
don't
Yeah.
have to
With,
leave
with,
this council and come back
This is
and or later and the next council's fighting that old bridge.
So-
We need to get it done right.
so with an engineer study, would they tell us if there was a weight limit on it at this point in time too?
We go through it really thoroughly.
Okay.
I would imagine,
Okay.
yes, that's
Every
gonna
bridge
be-
has a weight limit.
yeah. And I think it
Assigned to it.
already has one to my knowledge. There's a sign, I believe.
I'm just saying with the deterioration and stuff like that, they'll reduce it. You see what I'm saying?
Actually, I don't think they'll reduce it. I think it's good for that weight, and then when it isn't good for that weight, it
It's
gets
done.
red flagged.
It's
Say it
either
was
all
with
or
the
none.
county, you know.
That-
All right.
Okay, so we'll leave it in.
Well, there was, they would go and inspect them and then we had X number of time to fix it.
Okay, so we'll leave it in, steel wheel roller. You wanna tell us about that?
What's where?
We're on steel wheel roller with trade-in, a rubber tire roller.
So this one, we have actually both. We have a steel wheel and a rubber tire. We'd like to trade them in. The steel wheel is older. The rubber tire, we can't use it. It's really meant for, I'm not sure what the thought process was, not for asphalt. If you drive over hot asphalt, it just sticks to the tires and then it pulls up everything you just did. So we would like to trade both of those in to purchase the new steel wheel roller where we can be more efficient, actually lay the asphalt properly and not have to worry about it coming up.
Daniel, at one time, the city purchased, some kind of a roller so it would make imprint in asphalt, so then you can paint over it so it looks like bricks or something. That's not this.
Oh, like the concrete stamper, is that what you're thinking?
Well, it was a stamper, but I thought it was a roller. This is
That
not
is
it.
not, no.
Okay, thank you. Okay, what's the pleasure of the council? Leave it in?
Is it needed or is it something that can wait another year?
It can absolutely wait.
So I say wait.
What's the pleasure?
But ideally, it sounds like important enough to keep it on the short list, cause,
Yeah.
I mean, we want good asphalt fixes, right?
We were told to put absolutely exactly what we needed, so
No,
this is absolutely what we needed, but if you have to cut it, that would be cut. We didn't fluff or add extra things just to hopefully get it. This is the things we really need.
Okay, Mayor, what are your thoughts?
Oh, if it'll wait a year, we should wait a year.
Rest of the council?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
let's
on board.
red line it.
Okay.
Okay, now we're on 6 Penny projects,
Miller Street Extension.
Edinburgh Street.
That's been on the list long enough, we need to leave it there.
Yeah,
That needs to be
Edinburgh
done.
Edinburgh and Walnut is 6 pennies, so we can skip that. That's
Yeah,
gonna
those-
be done.
In
The-
fact,
yeah,
they're
so we
engineering
gotta-
right now, as I understand.
But that
Yeah.
Miller Street extension needs to be done.
Okay.
I would push really hard for that. It's, when people come to town, they can go to our park, or they can drive around lost, or leave, or whatever, but that street makes a difference.
Try to tie,
Both sides
Cottonwood
together.
Village into our community. It's still part of our community. They're kind of left out there by themselves with just one way to get out.
Can I suggest something, and I understand that's your guys' ward, right? And I agree with the tie-in of this, but, I mean, when I look at different things and aspects of the Miller Street, I see, Davis Street as a better tie-in point, because it goes straight through and it goes right by the park. It is one block further to the north of that, which is closer to the Cottonwood Village, okay? And when I also look at this, I look at it as a safety standpoint too, that the amount, the grade that comes from the Higley Boulevard there and coming in, the grade into Miller Street there is pretty steep, and I do believe it could be a hazard and a concern, and there is a residence that could be affected at that point in time too, if something horrible would happen. So I truly think a flatter surface, a street that ties in all the way through that area would be a better option. That's just my opinion.
Well, it started out 5 years ago or longer. They had me do a survey down there on Davis. The survey came in, not a problem. People wanted it done. Then they drug their feet on it, and they said for whatever reason, then they said, well, maybe we ought to go to Miller Street. I think that would be a better street. Well, we need another survey. So we did another survey. And this has just been going on and on. There was a time in there where the manager said, well, I think we could do it in-house. And the next thing I know it, well, no, we're gonna have to get an engineer to look at it. And this just goes on and on and on. It's because they didn't want to do it. I think that was the answer. But I think it's an important part of tying our community together. We spent a lot of money, brought in a man from Casper to give us a big spiel about how you tie your community together, get it. And this was part of it. You do it with streets, you do it with schools, you do it, and that was part of the spiel. We paid money for that guy to come and tell us, but it was just thrown away.
I think you do it, and if you want to add the other street, then you add that other street at a later time.
I think.
And then you're not throwing away money.
100% I understand that. I think the problem with the Miller Street though is I think it should just be moved down to the Davis Street instead of doing Miller Street, because the angle there could create a huge safety hazard for the house.
But if it was, it would already be a safety hazard for all those.
We'd have to fix it.
It's blocked right now with guardrail and everything through there at Miller Street.
But it's a street. It goes through, right? It
No,
just has the guardrail there?
It stops right there. They never continue that on.
Question, is the Miller Street extension on our 6 penny, was that part of that?
No.
Or not?
No,
Okay.
just
I couldn't remember.
I mean, I agree with tying everything in. I believe it needs to be tied in myself. I think it just needs to be moved down one street for a lot of safety reasons. It could occur.
Who decided it was gonna be Miller Street instead of Davis Street? What was the logic there?
Well, it was staff. Public Works, I guess, whoever settled.
Is there anybody here that can speak to that? Why it was moved? Danielle?
I cannot, no. I don't know the history of this. I actually have a full study looking at traffic patterns that I can send to you guys, that I was able to find before, but I don't have like the dialogue, the reasoning behind, I just have that information. I even think there was a cost estimate done for both Davis and Miller that I could send, and I'm pretty sure I have all of that in a file that I could send to you pretty easily, if you guys would like to look at it.
There was a change. It was my understanding the money was going to come from a project that didn't use all the money. You remember that? We talked about that, Sean. I don't remember what it was. Where they were going to get the money.
I remember. I can answer that question.
Yeah.
So, we had put in $1 million in the budget for streets project, and at that time, the finance director had identified that $200,000 was going in from impact assistance. So for streets projects, we would have $1.2 million. We bid out the streets project that's being carried forward, and it came in under. So we were going to utilize those funds. However, when we actually looked in the budget, the $200,000 from impact funding was never actually designated to be spent for streets and was not in the budget. Therefore, it would have taken an amendment or a request in the current budget.
So I finally found the answer to the $1.2 million impact. That $200,000 is engineering, $800-some thousand is a street project. That's the way it shows up in here somewhere. So that's what that is.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I guess I would say let's leave it in, but then leave the Miller Davis Street up for discussion.
which
Let's leave
one
the
gets
funding.
it?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no
I mean,
opinion on it. It means nothing to me, but you guys
Dabari
all
was
think it's a
just
good
saying
idea,
that he actually said he'd rather prefer Davis Street also, right?
Well, that's where it started.
And that's where it
all started, because one of the mayors that we had happened to live in my neighborhood, and they did the petitioning, they did the walking around, and so, that's where it started from, and then I just found it's not my position to, as a council member, to be telling, the staff just how to do things. So I turn it over to them, and they come up with making the changes and putting it up on Miller.
When that was first designed down there, that street was connected, because I had, like, the map of my house and stuff, it shows that whole area, and that street was supposed to be connected to Davis
Well, right now, you got.
in the plan.
Yeah.
Is Davis now open for through traffic?
No.
Okay, so I think it ended up being a fire prevention issue here.
I think so.
As I recall, because there's only one way into, out by Applewood or Cottonwood Village. And you can't there is no other place to go to that area if you go from Station 1 just around, if that one street's blocked, you can't get over to provide that 2 or 3 minute response time. I think I remember that's part of the discussion, so, yeah, we need another through street.
It should have been hooked up to start
Yeah,
with.
yeah, so I agree, let's leave it in and move on.
Okay, so what's next?
Okay, what wayfinding?
Which aligns with our strategic plan.
Okay, explain.
What are these?
I want to be honest, I would just skip this, and it has nothing to do with the value of the project. This community wants to see some wins, and signs is not what they want to see. I would just honestly move past this, and I would find things like streets that people can see and appreciate right out the gate. I think that we will get chastised for putting more signs up. It's just my personal thought, but.
Okay,
And
what,
you
the
know, I think-
wayfinding,
I
go
think-
where?
I think you're probably right. One of the things that's been bothering me for a long time, and it switches to another department, doesn't have nothing to do with public works, but that Bolton Park, we're talking about cleaning up the entrances to our community, east, west, north, and south. Well, south hasn't been touched. For 25 years, that park is set there, and them landscaping ties that surround that park are rotted away. Last year, they had a hacksaw, and they were cutting a big spike that was sticking out to it because somebody might get poked with it. Things of that nature. That's ridiculous. We need to study our parks, get some numbers, and find out what it's going to cost to bring them up to date, and then we can start talking about spending money. I don't know what it would cost to do all this, but we need to be looking at our parks strongly when it comes to.
Hint, hint.
He's up next.
Okay, so,
I would, sorry.
what's the wayfinding issues? I wanna know what they are, where.
These wayfinding signs are actually for all of the parks.
Wait, what would they say, and where will they be, and what will they do?
They'll replace the signs that are at most of our parks now that look different. They'll match the wayfinding signs, so similar to what City Hall has right outside here with the stone, and where it'll say the name of the park and then the address, and it'll match that.
To put a really nice sign in a park that's deteriorated makes 0 sense to me. Because Bolton Park is well used. I mean, it's on my way home. Tourists, a lot of people pull into town to eat.
And if we dump some money into fixing that up a little bit,
If
to me,
it looked
that's
nicer.
the win over just some
Right,
signs.
that's the gateway thing too.
But
This
just
is for-
a quick comment if I can. You know how yesterday we were talking about the general plan and we plugged in that 100,000 for strategic plan projects, and one of them was 20,000 to do some like painting and maintenance, kind of make our parks a little bit more beautiful, give them a facelift. So we'll see how far we can go with that, but maybe after that it might make more sense for the signs.
These are just for the
You know,
parks?
I think some of these things ain't gonna,
Nothing.
ain't something that's gonna happen tomorrow.
Street signs.
We need to look at those parks.
Like a
Look
lot
at
of
them.
money.
Yeah, I
Come
mean,
up with
that's.
a plan of what it's actually gonna cost to do Washington Park, Bolton Park.
And that's in what he proposed to us to do, I'm
Yeah.
gonna call it master plan, but 5-year.
Yeah, that's what we need to be
So
doing.
I think this is something that could come up next year. This isn't gonna impact us this year.
So the wayfinding signs for the parks could be added in to the 5 or 10 year plan that he has, so, yeah, I'm in agreement, Scott.
Red line.
Gonna work for you, Josh?
So the next one is also wayfinding, but it's specifically for public parking spaces. We have 3 lots in our downtown that this would put signs at so that people would know where they could park and hopefully help with some of our parking things going on downtown.
Do we wanna leave that in? That's 15 grand.
I think take that out too.
So could
To
we?
put a sign in
the
the
city-
parking
you guys-
lot saying it's
city
a
makes
parking lot.
signs, correct?
We don't make signs.
Oh, so you order everything in?
We do order
Okay,
signs.
okay.
Have we ever talked to BLM to see if we could be in conjunction with them and help and maybe have them print some signs for us and help and maybe reduce the cost?
We used to go to Shoshone Sign Shop, and they made signs for us on occasion, but we haven't done that recently.
Because this is the national sign shop here, right? So we could,
I can reach out to them and look into that.
It just might be a cheaper option in the end, to help out with stuff too, so. But I'm in agreement with it.
Yeah, okay, let's take it out, wait findings out.
Snow
Okay,
blower.
snow blower.
Now, that snow blower, is that the one that picks up the snow in the center of the street and puts it in trucks?
That's the Pac-Man.
Okay.
So that is different. The snow blower is actually, we did a lease program with the snow blower. It picks up it's got the wheels that spin, it picks it up and then shoots it into a truck or into a field or wherever. It's actually great. It is a super, I guess, efficient piece of equipment to have. The one we have is wrong for us. It's too big. It has two attachments, one that goes in the front of the loader, one that goes in the back. So it takes us one full day to hook it up with all the hydraulic hoses and everything.
That was never the intention, like,
yeah.
that was not what it was supposed to be at all.
Yeah, so they actually make snow blowers specific for municipalities that can do up to 3,000 tons per hour of snow removal. Where you drive up with your loader, you hook up to it, it's like a quick attachment. You hook up, you go blow snow, do whatever, and then if you need your loader again, you go back and you take it off.
It's like removing skid steer attachments.
So the idea was great. The snow blower is super useful and helpful piece of equipment. We just need something that better fits our equipment. What we have is just far too large. So we would like to get rid of the lease and trade that back in and get the smaller, quick attachment snow blower so that we still have the ability to do that. I can tell you, not this winter was much better, thankfully, but the winter before we used that thing at the landfill like crazy because we had, I'm sure you guys drove out there, huge drifts going on. We used it a lot on Murray Street by some of our parks and we just blew it right into the park. So it is super helpful.
I think we'll leave that
I
in.
think, you know, that we have our emergency routes that have to be done. And I'm a believer the good Lord put it there, let her take it. You know, this is ridiculous. We spend a lot of money on cleaning that snow. And I'll tell you, I don't have a problem getting around. It's just that people demand
but
it
your
because
citizens
we've done it
do.
for so many years. They demand it.
Well, but down where I lived last year, not last year, or this year has been great. The year before, I laid a 2x4 across the ice, 18-inch deep ruts, which would take the entire undercarriage off of almost any car I know of. So my wife and I own a 4-wheel drive pickup, so we didn't have a problem. But we have neighbors that are older than us, so they're really old, and they have cars. So if they had a medical emergency, it was a death sentence to them.
And I understand that
having
was-
streets as dangerous as we had a year ago is shameful.
Yeah, and I understand, and I agree with you. That was one of the worst winters that we had. I don't know how it took place. I think the city went out there and did the best they could, then it melted, then it built ice, and they cleaned it a little bit, then it melted again. And
They
by the
drove-
time you got it, you had them roots. And then we couldn't get the ruts out of there because it was tearing up our equipment.
There was a 2-ton truck with a snowplow that went around our house every day, but he didn't put the plow down. So we had 18-inch ruts. I'm telling you, they just did a horrible job. And then we had the worst snowstorm of the worst snow year ever. And 3 days later, because of change of management, the whole town was cleaned up. It was amazing. So if any town should be good at snow removal and get good at it, it should be us, honestly.
And I think this winter they did an excellent job.
Excellent job.
So let's just leave it in.
So,
and
well, I
go
got a quick
for-
question. So, because that was a lease, so technically we should just be able to
Yeah.
walk away from the lease. Is this a new lease or is this just a purchase of the machine? Is it from the same
That
company?
would be the price to purchase the machine, and I don't know if it would be from the same company or not.
Okay, okay.
But we would.
So you haven't like talked to them and said, this is too big, and then they said, oh, we have this one?
I have talked to them to see what they have availability wise, but it's been several months. They did actually have one then. I don't know if they still do now.
Is there
So-
a penalty for turning that back in the
I
lease?
asked that too, and there is not.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
I
leave
say
it at
leave
that.
it.
Leave it.
Okay,
at
next
Okay,
thing.
consent, say
What's a
leave
depot
it.
crosswalk? What is that?
It's crosswalks throughout the city.
What do you mean?
It was supposed to be like pedestrian crosswalks and striping to paint them and identify where people to help, so they know and they're not just crossing wherever and vehicles know.
It's not just Depot, it's.
Yeah, city
Citywide.
Yeah.
So I personally would argue that I would love to see better crosswalks around here. I would also like to see, I don't know about this year and this particular budget, but I would also like to see an addition, call it wayfinding signs, whatever, but basically some signs around that say pedestrians have the right of way. Because the amount of times that I watch people walk the street and cars will just go right past them and go around them. And the mentality is the cars have the right of way and we don't care about pedestrians. But if you've got somebody that's in from out of town, they're gonna park downtown and they wanna walk around. And I've watched them just, cars go around the lanes. I've watched them on Spruce Street where a lady with a baby was in one lane and they literally just went on the side lane next to her.
Frogger.
So I'd like to just see crosswalks and pedestrians have the right of way, but I know he's.
I'd like to add something to this crosswalk if possible right here. And this come from a citizen also, right? So I think not only with the crosswalks we need to look at, but we also need to look at the handicap accessibility of the streets at that time. This come from a citizen in Ward 1 that it's not even accessible at Bolton Park for a handicapped crosswalk where the sidewalk goes up. So not just that, I mean, we need to, I hate to say it, but that needs to be a little bit extra possibly to help out with some of those situations. I'm not saying do everything at one time, because we couldn't afford to do everything at one time. But if we have a well-used park as such a Bolton Park, it should have handicap accessibility on all ends, not just the side where you park. So, I mean, I think that probably should be increased a little bit, in my opinion.
So what's the pleasure?
So mine are a little, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go in the weeds. We haven't striped this, what about just road striping? Is that hi. I guess I would.
Sure, you're gonna have them go and do all that.
Because I don't even think that we painted last year, like at all, right? No streets got painted.
We did paint last year, so we actually took it out of this year's budget. We have it in next year.
Okay.
We actually have it in our 10-year every year, and then every third year we have a little bit of an increase to redo downtown because of the parking spaces. It costs a little bit more, but we do have it. We pulled it this year just because we had so many requests.
Okay.
And anything that needed to be done on like small scale this year, we would just do in-house.
Okay.
Was really the plan.
Okay, so it's a pleasure of.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
I just had a quick question about the Depot Park crosswalk and if the splash pad and the fence had anything to do with changing that, or does it not affect that?
Doesn't affect it.
Yeah, that should be its own budget.
So,
So,
Okay.
I guess,
yes,
I mean,
in favor of.
And we do, just,
Okay, let's move
you
on.
can do what you choose, but just so you guys know, when we do streets projects with, and we have curb gutter, we update to ADA.
So is this something, that's what I'm asking, is this something we could add a little more in to make a few of those happen?
So council pleasure, do you wanna leave it at 20 or you wanna add a little more?
I mean,
I'd almost leave it at 20 and then go out and find the places and come up with a plan.
We can always amend the budget.
Right, we've got a guy who's inspecting every part.
Yes.
Make that part of the improvement process.
Okay, so we're at the
I'm
end
just
of.
saying
So I'm with you, I'm just saying, let's
that come
make it a
from,
process.
that come from someone that,
But-
you know, is
Yeah.
over there.
They'll check it out first, Chris. Okay, that is the Public Works. Is there anything else, Danielle, or any questions for Danielle?
Sideways?
And she's on the next section here too.
That's
So
the
now we're
development
to
facilities, okay.
City Hall fire panel and inspectors, which.
Yeah, so if you guys have questions about these facility projects, the fire panels already, work has already started here at City Hall. The City Hall HVAC upgrades, I would say this absolutely needs to stay. It is hitting a critical point. We need to really get it cleaned and serviced. Again, I would fear if we don't add that I'm gonna come to you with an emergency request.
We don't
Please.
have heat in all the building yet either, do we? Isn't that part of that, because the whole
Well, it
building
is,
doesn't
it's
have
just
heat?
not working. They're technically supposed to be, but.
Okay.
The police department remodel, honestly, I feel like everything here needs to stay. It's really hard to cut this.
Explain what we're doing there.
So the police department remodel is in their basement. They currently have 3 victims advocates working out of an extremely small office or closet, whatever you want to call it. It's super small. And when one is on the phone, the other cannot be, or they're trying to talk over each other. So they do have 2 offices down there, for 2 spaces. They're not really functional right now. We'd like to remodel for proper egress and make them functionable so that they can actually use it and have the space that they need.
And they don't have the proper electrical outlets and all that either, because that's so old down there.
Yeah, and egress is a big part of that with a window or a door or whatever. And so
Could we set them up at the depot station? I mean, the DDA used to run out of that, so there's obviously power and phones and all of that.
Gonna have a hearing problem.
Yeah, I get the trains, I get the nightmare, but
Well, they're not.
a 2-year solution to get something better, long-term planning versus spending money on a remodel that's only good for a year in.
Victims advocates need to work out of the police department.
Yes.
They would need to be in that building.
Yeah, because all of their clientele come through there.
They respond to all of our victim services that require to have a victim, whether it be property or personal. So, they meet with our victims. When we bring in victims into the police station, they directly work out of there. So they can get all the paperwork, the restitution, all the victim services to them, so. And they're literally in a building, in a room that's half this size.
No way to operate out of the depot for a temporary solution.
I think it'd be non-productive for them, having been around police officers.
I mean, they're also in a secure facility for us too. And so when we have victims come in, victims have confidentiality rights as well. And so we want to maintain that within our secure facility rather than an open facility like the depot.
No,
Okay, what's your
I
pleasure?
just want to make sure, like Aaron said.
Do you want to leave it in, guys?
I mean, I do, but I just feel like there's
We can go back
maybe
over
a
and see if there's
smarter
something else
way
we
of
can
doing
cut,
it,
but.
that's all.
It's a lot of money for a temporary building.
That's what I'm.
I mean, we're studying changing the building, but we're spending money.
Okay, Terry, tell me about that again.
Well,
We haven't.
everybody wants a different police station, but we're spending money on the old one.
About the police station.
You know, if I'm gonna buy a new car, I'm not gonna put a motor in the old one.
Feasibility.
It was
We got the feasibility, we got the feasibility study.
Did we talk about
It's a
it?
pretty big
We
building.
cut it.
We cut it?
We just got through cutting the feasibility study for fire and police,
I don't remember.
I just think there's other options.
way back.
That's in our police administration.
What you want us to spend?
So the feasibility study was,
To find out if we should combine the two.
To be honest with you, a fire station or a combination center is gonna be 3 to even 7 years off. I mean, if you look at how you're gonna space out your projects and flow of money and that kind
Even
of
if we
thing.
decided to build it today, it wouldn't be built
Yeah.
for 3,
So
4.
But if we don't
saying
start,
that-
if we don't start the study, then we're another year out, right?
Yeah, we are.
Study.
The
But if we
feasibility
push it off
study
every
for,
year, then it's
yeah.
another year that we're not looking at it.
That's what
I'm
I'd
just
hate
saying
to
from
do
my
is-
standpoint, and I'm being very polite over here,
Yeah.
that building that we have right now is 51 years old,
Yes, yes.
okay? And fire stations are outdated after 25. 50's lifetime gone, okay?
We're lucky
A temporary
that-
facility
we're lucky
you
that
have
number
is
2
25 years. However, we're making do,
So-
we are making do, and
That is
there's no issues with us on a day-to-day basis, but if we say, well, this year we're not gonna do it, then that's not even
Yeah.
a look at building a new fire station. If we say next year, we're not gonna do it, that's another year off that we're not gonna look at. And by the way, you're right, it'll be a 5-year process. I've been in the business of building fire stations before, and it does take a long time, but if we every year throw the feasibility study off.
But if we build a fire station,
Right.
it has to be in Ward 1. Because there are times you can't come across there. So we're gonna have to either build 2 or none.
And by the way, that's why we would look at, saying exactly what the time and distance requirements are, and that kind of stuff there, so yeah.
But there's a reason we have one on South Side.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And by the way, we should.
Three minutes
And
response.
so when you say build a combination one,
wanting to
Right,
expand.
right. My point is, the one on the south side, that's, because that is, I mean, that's our critical time.
But it's 25 years old.
Yeah,
So it's junk.
what's that?
You said after 25 years.
I didn't mean to bring it back up, but.
So that one's 25 years old.
Because see what happened, he said he
Yeah.
got used to it.
It was built in
Oh.
So the feasibility study is.
Okay, can't hear anybody.
Okay, so the feasibility study is just a study to join the police department and the fire department, right? Correct?
Yeah, but if you're gonna study to build A1, why do we have 2? Why do we have fire station number 2?
Location is really important.
So where are you gonna build the 1?
Well,
As long as it's in Ward 1, I'm okay,
That's what,
because that's where we need it.
they
We already got one down
I don't
there.
know, where's Wayne?
Yeah, but it's over 25 years old.
It's not 51 years old though.
Yeah, I think.
And it's not metal.
It needs to be in Ward 3.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
but I think this feasibility study is for a combined center of all, police,
Yeah.
fire, and everything, right? It's what the plan for the feasibility study is. It wasn't to study just building a fire station.
Right.
It was combining all services.
I personally feel on this one, like if we were to do a combined something or other, that could be a long time out, a really
Yeah.
long time out, and they are desperate.
I'm hearing that this needs to be done.
That's kind of
Yeah.
how I
I'm hearing
feel,
this
but
needs to be done. I would support leaving this in.
The basement remodel, you mean?
Yeah, it's a little frustrating, but from what I'm hearing that they're putting up with, you
Yeah.
can't.
So.
Give it a,
Yeah, I mean, I come from medical.
Okay, let's leave it in and move on.
it's good.
What I tell you
Next
is
thing.
if we have if we add additional code enforcement, we're struggling to even find a space for him.
Okay.
Well, maybe we better cut him.
office, it's upstairs.
They'll find a place if we cut him.
Okay, let's,
Nobody in there.
I got
okay,
kids.
guys, let's leave in the remodel basement. I'm hearing that there's votes for that. That would.
gym floor, should we go into gym floor?
Yeah.
So this was actually, pushed
So the
back.
HVAC is still in, right, for sure?
Yeah, it's been on our radar for,
Okay,
For
no one ever
4
says,
years.
So we're,
didn't really discuss.
we're on to the gym floor of the rec center now.
So this was actually pushed this year from last year. It was cut last year, so put into this year. It does need to be done. I know during the presentation, you guys had asked if we would be able to resurface it again. And based off of what Cody was able to find, we can do another resurface. And during this time, if it's approved, they'll also evaluate how many more we'll be able to do and when we'll need to replace it. But it is getting really bad and needs some attention for sure.
So to resurface it, what would be the cost there difference, do you think, Danielle?
From resurfacing to new.
To replace, yeah.
It's going to be substantially.
Oh, this is resurface, I'm sorry.
This is to resurface,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And during the resurface, we can for sure resurface based off the number of times, but we are also going to have them evaluate and tell us specifically, I would not do it more than 2 more times, and then you need to replace. So that moving forward, we can put it in our 10-year plan.
Okay.
But this does need to happen.
So that's happening
The
already.
rec center
what
really
it
wasn't
asked
even
about.
used this year.
Okay,
well,
Because of
COVID's gonna
COVID.
be over one
Yeah.
of these days.
So,
it's open now, so, and it's getting used pretty hard. I mean, they've already started, like men's league up there for basketball, all kinds of stuff, so it's getting used hard again.
Yeah.
oh, I realize that, but it wasn't used for a year.
Well, this leftover work. Okay, wanna leave it in, let's do that. Okay, we're going on to the
Just
truck.
leave it in?
Yep, leave it in.
So the
Yeah.
van, truck, trade-in of truck.
So again, we have, I believe it's a 94 or 6. Don't quote me on the year. We have a very old truck that we would like to trade in to get a van. And there's a couple of reasons. One, to get rid of the old vehicle. 2, we would like to be able to equip the van with some cleaning supplies, some parts for different replacements throughout the city to help us be more efficient rather than our employee trying to run back and forth to whatever, mostly our facility to pick up supplies or parts or materials for different facilities, projects going on. They can keep everything right there in one central location. So that's really the intent of that. This actually has been pushed off 2 years now. So we
This
are
isn't the green pickle, is it?
we are using that one right now
Still?
because the other one is worse. So we do really need this. I mean, if you cut it, again, we'll make do, but it is a need. It will help us to be more efficient as well, and it is for our facilities crew.
Is this the one he showed a picture of?
That is under utilities, that is different. This does not have the KUB box, it is just a van, that has the larger back area where we'll actually have some storage for our different parts and supplies.
And you would use that, I think this one you've got is a blue one, and they use that to go on like the ball games or physical or activities that parts of the.
No, that's the
that's a
rec
different-
van, we
that's
are
a
trading in
different
a
one.
truck and we're going with like a utility van so that we can keep all of those things, supplies in there.
You're talking the truck that JD drives around, is that kind of the one?
Yes.
It is a pretty old, it's like a 97 or something.
I wanna say it's a 96, but it's definitely pretty old, and it's been handed down, I think, through like 3 different divisions to him.
So we could put that on the fleet list maybe, guys?
I just say, I'm okay with leaving it, but I guess I get it, right? Could we put it there, but then hold it to put it into your system
think that's-
in 6 months, kind of?
Yeah.
I agree with that, right? I agree with, it's still running, I mean, it's a daily driver, and could be
We can
saved for later.
get through the summer and then get it on the fleet program in 6 months and maybe get you something before it breaks down completely. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Danielle's
Do I need to explain, do I need to explain the $5,500?
No, that's absolutely necessary.
What is it?
It's a code reader
It's a
for
code
the shop,
reader.
it reads all the codes
That
for all
guy's
the
running
Oh,
different
that's
vehicles.
for a new vehicle.
It tells them what's wrong.
It does.
We have somebody new starting.
Oh, do you?
Yes,
Awesome.
they'll be here the end of May, so.
In addition to Ken?
Oh, Ken staying,
Yeah, I
yes.
would-
This is.
In addition, yes.
This is to help him just navigate, it'll actually tell him where to go to
So
fix it
that's
and
not-
As long as
everything.
it's on
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Yeah.
That actually, that last one should go under small tools and equipment. So we're just gonna move it into operating.
Okay.
And it's not a black hole
You
vehicle?
know better than that.
No,
I know.
no.
No, it's just a.
It's a tool.
Car.
It's a tool.
So this, with everything that we just highlighted in yellow, and then we have one that's orange here, that brings us to $3.18 million.
Okay.
And then I pulled down the fund balance that we have to spend, that we talked about, this 13.9 million. So that gives you an idea of how much that would take us down in the fund balance right there. So the 13.9 minus this would bring us to 10.7 million.
Left.
Can we get a vote on the feasibility study?
Of course you
Because,
may. Just discuss it.
yeah, can we discuss, or just
Yeah, we can.
decide if we wanna do that or not? Cause I think we need to. I think the fire department and the police chief, both of them have expressed concern that they need new building.
The plan
I
clearly
think-
needs to be implemented
and I-
for some long-term.
I
So how
think
much
that
was
they
it?
wanted to try and get grant funding for it, was what I believe, we were gonna try and get grant funding for
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
feasibility
what-
study,
I mean-
so it doesn't need to be a capital item.
Oh,
You
okay.
will get them.
Yeah, so it's actually not
Oh,
on the
okay.
list, but yeah, they could just go for that, and
So we don't need to, it
hopefully,
doesn't need to
hopefully
be
we
on
can get
here?
grant
Well,
funding for it.
it's, okay, I'm sorry, Sean, what are you saying? It's a feasibility study for $30,000 and they all feel that should be going back in.
The feasibility study, we want to get grant funding, so it doesn't need to be part of our capital discussion
What
right
if you
now.
don't get grant funding?
Then we could come back.
You want to amend the
Can we just budget it so that if
Let's
they
just
can't get it,
budget
we
it
can
so
just
we're
move
clear.
forward without
We could.
amendments and?
I like that idea. I'd rather budget than we amend it.
I mean, they're either gonna need new buildings or, I mean, something's gotta change. It's
Well,
not gonna work this way.
we're gonna need to know where to go, cause it's gonna be a $10 million price tag, minimum.
Oh, it'd be way
It
down.
would probably
Yeah,
be
give-
closer,
based on the
to
27
50.
million for the courthouse remodel.
I would say it'd be a minimum of 15 to 16 at a minimum, based on my
For the
experience.
study.
Oh, not for, no, for
To
the
build a building?
itself, yes.
Be how much?
Probably in today's about 15 to 16 million dollars to build one.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, I
Might get
have
one.
a, the consensus is that we leave it in for $30,000, Sean.
Okay, I plugged it back in.
The feasibility study.
So
Yeah.
that brings
I
us
thought
to
they were
10.7.
No, they're gonna
Well,
try, if they can.
And we still can go forward. It's better to have it in the budget.
Rather than doing a budget amendment or something,
Yeah,
our
those-
argument is
I
if we
don't
just
like
budget
budget
it, if we
amendments.
don't spend it, it's okay.
So,
Okay, next.
so this is super helpful.
Okay, where are
Put
we
it in the
at?
budget, they'll spend it,
Okay.
they'll find a way. I guarantee it.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. So where are we at with that
Gavel.
one then?
Okay.
Hold on.
Feasibility study, we'll put it back in.
Sean,
Yeah,
you
we're
have the
gonna
floor.
figure it out.
All right, so this is very helpful. This helps us to be able to get the proposed budget in a couple weeks to y'all with the capital items. What we still need to know for sure is now the positions really in the general fund. So let's go ahead and talk about, let's just touch on the grant.
Before you get there, I wanna know about enterprise funds and all the capital things that go into that. Is that another discussion for another night?
I think we should
Just
do
keep
it
going.
all,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I'll back off and let you talk.
So if we can talk about the positions on the general fund, then we can kind of button up the general fund and then move on to the next item. So the positions is what I want to know for the general fund.
What about Parks and Rec for
They're
their
next.
capital projects and stuff?
They'll be next. They're in the next fund. So let's start with the grant writer and the economic development director. I did put together a full-time position for grant writer here. I can honestly support if we wanted to do the full-time grant writer, we could go that approach or the contracted one. Either way, I think we can be successful. But it's council's pleasure, I think, on this.
I think we should do the grant, I like the idea of the grant writer. I think it'd be a great position.
There's some advantages to having that because then I know like Mayor was saying that person can kind of see a grant. Once we get it, they can kind of see it through the process and that's helpful.
And they'll be here, they'll see our day-to-day and what we really need versus we hire someone where we see something. So maybe it gives us a little bit, we'll get ideas from them or maybe they'll see something, be watching for it. So I think it's,
They're more compassionate, they know
Yeah.
all the ins and outs, they have all the resources sitting right here. You know, it's they'll have more buy-in if they're on staff. But, you know, if we don't have the money at one point in time, a temporary person to help us out is probably fine, but I'm all for someone that is gonna, they'll pay for their salary
So
the
what
first year.
happened, Linda, what happened to, and I totally agree that we need a grant writer, that's a plus. Well, I guess my question was, I was thinking in terms of saving a buck where you hire an economic development person and a grants writer, grants writer, as an option.
you don't think the economic director or developer will be too busy? Because
No,
I feel like
no.
they'll be.
I'll tell you what happens, the way I see it, that they look at everything and then they come to us and they say, now we're gonna have to do this and this to get a particular piece of property or something ready for some business. And then they go out searching for that business. But they wait for them business people, once they put it out there, to come to them. And then so in the meantime, they're hanging out. I mean, that's the one that I've seen the economic development person at the county level do.
Well, I just think we need full-time both of them. That's what I believe. I really do.
And that'll work, I'm just
You
trying
know,
to save a buck.
I can see a few years from now
Yeah.
that may not be the case, or we might change our mind, but there's gonna be a lot of grants to go after, especially with crazy Democrats doing what they're doing. You're welcome, Linda. Davari.
We're nonpartisan here, Terry.
Yeah, I know. That's why I give you crap. Just see if you can take it. And you can. You're good at it. But with this new stuff that's coming out, there's going to be a lot of grants to go after. I do think a full-time person, I think it's gonna take a lot of education to stay up on that, so they know what grants are there, what the requirements are and so forth and such like that.
I think,
So
you're right.
I think there's there's times when grants are there and times when they're not. I think we're looking at a time where there's gonna be a lot of grants.
And needing somebody to be able to go to the state, when the federal government dumps the money, they dump it to the
States.
state land and investment people, and we have to have somebody to be able to go down there and say, this is the grant that we're applying for, this is the money we're applying for, and this is why we need it. And so that's why I think a grants person will come in handy. But I still think, I thought we could slash economic development in there and get them both, but I don't know, I'm not.
I see where you're coming from, I like that, but I'm with Terry, just get aggressive.
Way more grants than
just-
just economic development out there.
And then they can start working on parks and.
Your economic development director, I would say, work on those grants and that recruitment. And then your other grant writer would just be for general, for everything else, right? For park improvements, for new
I see what you're saying.
windows.
That economic development person will still be working on grants, but
Yeah,
they'll
but those
pertain to
solely
economic
focused on
development
that.
programs.
Yeah.
Whereas your other grant writer could focus on state and federal grants that would just generally improve the municipality.
Yeah, economic development
Yes.
people get plugged into different kinds of money. And I'm looking at Pam with her, the board that she's on has broadband money. And as a former grants writer for the city of Rollins for 13 years, I can tell you, you develop a track record, people call you and want to get rid of, I'm gonna say not get rid of, but they have excess money left over from their projects. They need to spend it before September 30th. And you've got a person standing there that is known to these folks, got a good track record at the city, you're gonna get a lot more money. And so a full-time grants writer is probably a pretty good thing.
So I support
Economic
both.
development.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
There
I'm
are all
just.
kinds of different mechanisms.
So is this 131,514 is the everything for a grants writer?
This
Or I mean,
is-
economic
Yeah.
development
And then your grants writer. the
is
total-
106,000.
Yep.
So you're looking at $237,000 in benefits, salaries, and everything. And I'm gonna that's an ongoing position. I concur with needing a grants writer. I get it. I would rather see a bipartisan position where they share, with the economic developer and a grants writer at the same time. Honestly, that's how I feel. I don't want to keep adding and adding and adding. We got someone over here that's already said they're going after grants. I understand the fact of chasing your grants and how it's spent. It falls on finance in the end. She's already admitted that and said that. I mean, it's going to fall there anyways. That's how I feel.
If you hire a grants writer, part of that job is compliance, and if you don't do the compliance, you don't get the money.
You get in trouble.
You
Yeah.
get
But
in
the way
trouble
back
and you
trouble.
pay it back, and
That's
that was part of the job.
That's what I'm saying. Is
And that
it's already
also
going
falls
on.
under her to-
It's already going on finance at that point.
So the question comes down to this: how many people want a full-time double both positions?
I would go for both.
I mean, I'm not,
I mean, we're not.
One and one. Two positions.
One and one, two positions, two.
I would
a
go
grants
aggressive.
writer and
I would
a.
get
could I
aggressive
say
with it.
something
Economic
fast?
development.
In these positions, I don't see any support staff. There's nothing in here for support staff.
For grants.
Well, grants writer, I didn't need one because I was a clerical person too. But when you get into other positions, you're gonna need some support staff for them somewhere.
Well, the economic development director and ICM and the grants writer working hand in hand.
Yeah, they do.
They'll be each other's support staff, if you will.
Yeah, I think.
I'm going out and showing somebody a business, a piece of property, answer the phones for me.
And then arguably, regardless of how this goes or who does what, then we would still have a third person, which was gonna be either Pam and or the DDA, right? So now you really have, I mean, that's a lot
I
of,
wanna hear
I
from
can
you,
see the
Pam, what
support.
you're gonna say.
And then on top of that, well, I wanted to go back to the grants position and compliance, is finance takes care of the drawdowns and the financial side, but on the compliance side, there's reports, there's all that stuff. So the finance does not do that part. So like Terry, everybody's been saying, there's two components of compliance. There's the financial compliance and there's also the reporting compliance. So
That is true. However, in positions that I've been in before, that has to still be approved by me. So I am still overseeing that completion of those grants and how it's being managed.
Well, that's true. Whoever applies for the grants has to go through you, because when the checks arrive, you need to know where they came from. And so forth,
Exactly,
in
but
order
I-
to disperse them to. So it's not a one person going out on their own in the field here. It's a team,
Yes.
which you would be heavily involved with, but somebody's got to apply for them. Somebody's got to
I
make sure
agree
the
with you.
finances are right. Somebody's got to make sure that the compliance is done, or we
And-
can really
and
screw ourselves up.
Technically, that usually falls to me, to make sure that compliance is met. So I agree with you.
But that doesn't mean, Jody, you're gonna sit down there and do the reports, you're gonna review all the financials, and you're gonna review the report that comes in.
Right.
So that's your involvement, but the other person's doing all of the typing and gathering of data and all of the support through that grant, so.
Yes.
But anyway, to answer your question, Mayor, I can go either way, and I'll support whatever you guys do, because I have two different views, and I just think it's important to get people on staff, but I am worried about us adding so many positions to that general fund that someday we're gonna have to lay those people off.
And we will. When the time comes, I would have no problem with saying, we don't have the money for you. I've had to do it 1,000 times in my life. I hate it every time. It's called part of business.
Yeah, and I don't want to set us up for failure.
I understand it's part of business. I've been on the receiving end of getting laid off when the markets crash in oil and gas, right? But that's not what you want to build for a workforce also. And to say, hey, this is a possibility in 5 years, it's a punch in the gut, that's not the persona you want to build for the employees that are strong and run in the operation of a community or the city. That's my personnel position, and I'll stand behind that no matter what. Sorry.
Well, you want permanent help, but
Yes.
but no one has a permanent job.
That's why
No one.
what she said is we're adding so many positions right now. We can sustain through this right now, and we add more and more and more. Right? That's a possibility that it can't. It'll come back. And
But
bite
these
us.
positions promote the city. These build the city, which builds
It's possible
sustainability.
these guys could bring in another $1 million in revenue.
That's why I said I would support one position.
But you're also
split.
you're combining two positions. So you're asking one person to do two people's jobs. And the one thing I think that we need to get away from is overworking people, because then you lose people.
No, and I get that, but I just was listening to Davari talk about what he's seen and been through and seen with this, and it sounds like that is an opportunity that it's not going to be overworked.
Have you ever had a grants writer full time and an economic developer at the same
No,
time?
not both, just the one. Linda was a grant writer for the city.
We had grant writers for the county, and they didn't last very long because they got other opportunities. We didn't pay them like private industry would, and so we lost them. But every single one of them we had probably brought in anywhere from triple to quadruple their wages. So a grant writer, if they cost us money, we hired the wrong person. Because, I mean, just that simple.
I agree with you there.
The other thing of it is economic development is absolutely
And I'm
impossible
I'm
to
not an
quantify.
economic development expert, I'm just.
Because there are
I guess
things
my
that are gonna
thinking
happen
is
anyway.
my
New
thinking-
business comes, are we gonna say, well, we brought that new business in, or are we just gonna say they came to town and rent? I mean, there's all ways to look at
Mr.
this.
Mayor, my way of looking was money. I see
Yes.
$237,000, it's a lot of bucks.
And I think about $1 million they could bring
How
in,
much did
and I
you
like
bring
the
in on
difference.
COVID
The
grant?
grant writer's gonna do this.
2.4 million.
So you got 2.4 million on the COVID grant, one grant.
I know.
I mean, now imagine a person dedicated that's going after that, and meanwhile, you have an economic developer on the side that's finding projects and, I mean,
I just wanted to weigh in for whatever it's worth, because like Linda, I have a lot of experience writing grants. There's a ton of compliance stuff that goes with it, but I was just talking with some of your department heads in the back about how much time they spend outside of their regular duties writing grants, and how many they apply for. It's significant. If you were to take all that off their plate, put it on one grant writer whose job is specifically to look to fill the gaps. Where is their money so that we can buy tasers? Where is their money so that we can make improvements to our animal shelter? Where is their money so that we can buy some new equipment for our parks or lay
There's
down
no doubt in my
infrastructure?
mind that this grants person's gonna be busy. That person is gonna be busy. The economic development.
They're gonna be busy
They
too.
better be.
DDA is
They
busy.
better be busy.
They better be so busy that they don't have time to write the other grants.
I hope so.
Let me just say something. This town better start doing projects that show the improvements to the public. Fish ponds, whether you like it or not, is an EPA rule that you're gonna have to do no matter what, once you get 10,000 population. We're 9,260 people plus 1,500 people coming in and more people coming in with the windmills. But they want us to beautify this town, and if we don't start investing some money to show people that we care about where they live, then we're not doing our job. Okay, we have great people coming in, we've got all kinds of projects, the streets and maintenance and stuff, but we have no feel-good projects out there.
Oh, I disagree, but.
But I don't see it in the
I
budget.
disagree. I haven't seen any in the last few months, but there's a lot of plans to show improvement in our city.
But I just said what I've been saying.
The economic development director is a salesman. They're the one that sells Rollins. They're the ones that talk people into coming here. They're the ones that find people that don't want to come here. They find out why they don't want to come here. They cure that problems and they get them here. It's a very necessary part of it. And I just, you know, if we're not going to have an economic development director, we really don't necessarily need a grants writer either. Then
I have a question. Would you say that each position requires a different personality?
completely different set of tools.
Frequently.
Completely different set of tools. One's a person that fills out papers and is very good at that sort of thing, and one of them's the salesman. An economic development director is a salesman.
You can get them in one person, but they're rare. But my typical view of an economic development person is somebody that knows people. They go out and shake hands. They're at meetings. They cultivate high-level people. Some people I know on the staff already have done that, and that's what they do. I mean, I go back to the guy over in Torrington. He's now gone, but he was the epitome of what you should get for an economic development director. Not afraid to pick up the phone call and call the president.
Did he write his own grants?
He did, on occasion.
On occasion.
Yeah. But he also tapped into the money that the grant writer doesn't do. That is more corporate money, more foundation money.
Right, so you're describing two different positions.
I am, but they could be the same person. Now with the grants writer, you need somebody that has the same kind of qualities that can go after and do a lot of research and be there for the more routine things that come through, pass-through funds and even foundation funds. But either one, it depends on what you want. And you need that person to fit into your community. I'm sorry.
Just wanted to add something from my point of view. As the city moves forward, looks in the future, 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plans, a grant writer, I believe, can help identify which of those projects there's potential grant funding available for. But I also want to add, as I go around and inspect not only parks and facilities, but look at some of the city buildings, there's a lot of outdated buildings here. And to be honest with you, we're looking at a large amount of costs in playground replacement alone in the next several years. And there are a lot of grants available for that. And I do like what maybe Callie said about time for department heads and staff to really, it's very time consuming to apply for grants and then to follow through with them. So I manage them and everything. So the reality with the parks and recreation anyways is there's gonna be some big dollar projects coming in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay. And I agree with you, Galen. So where you guys wanna be?
I want to split a position.
I want both.
I'm a both.
Right.
I didn't think we were supposed to vote.
Well, we're not voting, but I'm giving opinions.
Sharing your opinion.
I'm just saying, I
I
would.
shared my opinion. I shared it this way, I agree with you folks, we do need a grant writer. My concern was this $237,000.
So the question to you is, do you vote for one position or two?
That's where I'm getting ready to answer.
Not voting, but he's gonna give us a.
Well, request your
I keep getting in
feedback.
trouble.
Your feedback.
That's exactly what I said, are we voting? You said yes.
Can you live with it?
Well, if we're not gonna
support-
voice
I
our
can-
opinion,
no,
what
no,
are we doing
no,
here?
no,
So,
listen to me.
what do you want?
Yeah, we can't vote, but I can tell you that right now, but I agree, I could support both positions. I'm not exactly happy with it, but we can gamble and take a shot at it.
Well, put it in the budget for 2 positions and we can vote on the final budget when it comes.
There we go. I think we have pretty much all the information we need on general fund at this point, so I think we can move on to the next one. If that's okay with everyone.
Sounds great.
I'm ready. This has been an awesome conversation. Really cool. Okay, so let's go to
I just am so passionate about
the
grant
recreation
writing,
fund.
having done it.
Thank you, Kelly.
You bet.
So let's do the same thing.
Oh, yeah, we're
Jason.
getting hardship.
Should we do like a 5-minute break? Yeah, should we do a 5-minute break? Yeah,
I think that's good.
Okay, let's do it.
Sorry. It's okay, I just walked away. Oh.
You're gonna get us.
That's right, you bailed on your part. We're not interested in your stuff. Try and be a nice guy. All right. All right, well, I'll go for a walk.
Don't say that.
The way that it was expressed was
That put me in that position, and I'm sorry. That's the way I feel, and also be shy when it comes to the public too.
whatever one.
So am I. That's my problem. So,
Okay, thank you.
help me out with them. I didn't think it was going to go this long, that's why I told you. Yeah, this is my old job. But I mean, the city's a lot bigger, a lot of different things you guys have that. But anyways.
And so like right now, it's straightforward.
Oh, I got one. Here's the council project.
But I got it first.
It's good discussion.
No, I think so. And it's easier for you to be like,
Well, tonight I'm just.
would you like another chair? No. We have folding chairs up here. I can get a folding chair. Okay, we'll get a folding chair and I'll put it in. All right, I just want to still out there.
Whatever, come out. You can do it. I'm checking it.
He's a sweetheart.
At best, a mediocre.
Yes.
All right, let me go get a chair.
Huh. Yeah.
Which was your most hardest part? Well, let's see if I can. I don't know if you can use it. You're sure?
Right.
Sorry, Linda.
Are we done?
No, hell no.
We're just taking a break?
Don't worry, we'll be here till midnight.
Yeah, we will.
Hey. Hey. Yeah, they should. Hey.
Yeah. No, I think this is the way to do it. Yeah.
I'm gonna use a little more of this.
Oh, yeah, it's basically.
You can like come up to with all the discussion and everything. That
Just,
seems
are
important.
you putting that, she gets a footstool?
Yes.
She is special.
Oh, I'm not special?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I'm special. The sun got me though. I was out for 9 and, you know, already.
You did get red.
It's going away though.
You are very red.
You know, for a reason. Not one of them days. I know what happens if you wear a trucker. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how we do it.
And then a layman's breakdown of it all, where it's transparent, but it's not overwhelming.
I'm gonna have to go buy
The average person is like,
Oh, is that right?
right. Nice reading material to put you right to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still watching.
Oh, yeah.
No, I will let you know if I hear any sort of feedback or if I hear anything. Absolutely. I will. If I get confused, I will.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is to.
Yeah, no issue with any type of foundation, yeah. Yeah, like you said, yeah. Perfect.
Oh, nice. Gotcha.
Yep, yeah, the time existence requirements, right?
Right.
Yeah, those time existence requirements.
Right. Takes a team. Yeah.
We're still coming to the.
Yeah, I couldn't keep my mouth shut.
I'm glad. Yeah, thank you.
It should almost just be. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
At least we're not
Yeah, I
fighting
don't want to do
something.
that. All the revenue gets.
My husband brought me a check.
I should.
I can need it. Oh, no, he dropped it off for me. He said, just here, go to King Supers. And I said, well, I think I'm gonna need more. Oh, you found one. So, have my husband bring you one? Oh, I have one plugged upstairs.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you.
So thank you for not actually bothering me. I didn't actually say that. I was almost there. Look at that. Oh. I was basically being nice. Like, I hope you would or something. I just gotta do this because my kids. Sure.
That's when you become the gymnast?
I wish I would have got bad as a.
But I'll get that.
Can I please? Or maybe, excuse me. I guess that's what I should say. What would have been appropriate?
Well, and I understand, I get it, but I'm just, there are certain times.
You're hey.
I've learned that from.
Where's me?
Yeah, I'm pointing at you.
I guess he was pointing.
No,
In a public meeting.
No, I'm just.
There's hey. There's lots of truth. Yeah.
Motion sensor, just in case he's-
Yeah, the police and watchers says we're there.
It's just like your front where they, and they're recording it. I mean, I don't say that. And we might not know. I think people.
As long as that's working, that's all we care.
A lot of smart places to steal from, so. We hear stuff.
Oh, really? Did you put a kick me sign on me? I don't trust you.
I used to do.
I guess I'm used to my friends. I need to start hanging around with a different class. We all used to.
Early 60s.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Especially if I was
That's good.
Friday, Saturday, the last.
2 in the morning, the sounds that would make when everything was shut. No sound, no radio, nothing. Eerie sound.
No.
Said you go to I saw a lot of things.
You don't do that.
I still haven't. No, I won't. Friday morning nights. Because I'm taking early sizes, sale papers on our so we're gonna be by 8 o'clock at the latest. We sign at 1 and then saves us an hour.
Half an hour.
I just want you to know last all day. I know about my numbers. About 6, that's about it.
You might be able to get it for free.
What I liked about the in the back, this one, we have to look at.
Yes, it's gonna actually, you're gonna
Ooh, I probably shouldn't touch that. That was probably. I know. Literally, my immediate reaction was to reach for it. I was like,
Yeah.
Sorry,
I never traveled 1100 miles in the past. There are dogs that just
yeah, what are we going to do? My doctor says. So here's all the
Actually, quite the opposite. You just live like that until you die.
I like her style.
Well, my dad had 5 kids, so there you go.
I like her style.
You never get the answer to your question. Unless the pacemaker quits. And if it quits, I quit. And I got about another year on this back.
I don't.
They don't change
think
that.
we have to break down. I don't have the breakdown for the.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. That was yesterday.
By the way, I apologize. My dog didn't take precedence over this, but I was like, if it's just gonna be this stuff, I'll ask. It's okay. Thanks. That makes sense. That makes sense. Maybe I'll chat with you tomorrow.
You could go home and watch it live on Facebook, but it's like just a picture of the screen.
I'm gonna go home and let my poor little dog go play in the yard for a while.
I think there's another sheet. You should go get this.
9 weeks.
And it's not well, it's so you come in with the pizza and all hell the chips with the pizza. We will see. I will see.
They do the first way. I said, I don't install signs, I don't have insurance. You're gonna leave in the middle of this?
I wish I
And he got real shitty, and I said, I'm leaving. I had 2 more holes in the drill. I said, you do it.
Anyone got a loud whistle? We should get going. Okay, I think we're ready. I think we're ready to go.
All right, let's go back to work. That's how you do it.
You've got a lot of.
I can go get your gavel.
You don't need one. I don't want a hammer.
There were gummy worms.
Maybe we'll, you don't want to put a hammer in my hand.
Yeah, I know, that's the one I had imagined. These are actually the exact ones.
Let's get going. Okay. Boss. I'm no boss. You know what boss is, don't you?
Guess you can't say it out loud because you're on a microphone.
Hello. No, that might.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the Facebook one.
All right, Jason is gonna cruise us through our recreation funds, and we'll just focus on bigger items so we can cruise through.
Exactly. So, focusing on bigger items. So I'm starting with the recreation fund golf course. Do you have like the top of your page golf course, everybody? It's not the new.
I can't see it.
Okay.
So this is gonna be on your new.
No,
Oh, this
the
is
new
on
is
old.
just the information.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, old one. Yeah.
Old on page 10. Oh, look, boom, number. Thank you.
I got so many.
I numbered them.
Okay, we're getting started again after our short break.
Go to this part.
Well, or Linda will be like, page 10, and I'm like,
I don't know which is which. I
So it
think
is-
we
it is
got
the same-
new
It
number
is
and
all-
newest,
yeah.
and I don't know which
I
one's
think you're on the
which.
right one. That's the same one we've been on.
This one?
hey,
Okay.
see, 10. I don't know about you guys.
It is on number 10, correct?
Yes, ma'am. We're there.
You're on.
Okay, so it is the screen we're looking at here. The first one I want to start with, I'll just read the last 3 of the item number. So 805. Sorry, 804. So I'll start here.
Cart rental?
Pro shop retail sales.
Sorry, let's see. No, one more down, 805. So there is an increase of $5,500, and basically that's just a 10% increase. And it's related to COVID-19. We feel like we're coming out of COVID. I know the golf course actually did really well with COVID compared to like the recreation center and other places where people gathered. But I still think we're going to get more. So the cart rental and the green fees, I just added 10% to both of those for the same reason. Any questions about that? Under the recreation center, if you go to 854, which is recreation center membership, the current year budget is $130,000, and we just don't feel that that's substantiated based on historical actuals. The difficult part of this equation is it is really hard to predict with what happened with COVID. It sort of destroyed all of our recreation program revenue. It just was non-existent. Our memberships went down. Our indoor soccer, our indoor basketball leagues and everything didn't happen. So we look back a few years, and even actual for 2019-2020 was $87,000. So we wanted to be kind of realistic, and that's why we plugged in the $65,000 that we did. And then the next one, 855, recreations, activities, tour, and programs. There is an increase in $8,000. That's in a way directly related to the strategic plan and the revamp the recreation programs. We are really focusing on expanding what we offer this community at the recreation center in many, many ways. So in order to do so, we're planning on bringing in additional revenue. I honestly believe and hope that that number's gonna be very low, but I wanna have a realistic, so $8,000, I think we're gonna be able to bring in much more revenue than that. That's our goal anyways. 858, Recreation Center sponsorship. I wanted to add some more to this because 3,000 right away is added from sponsorships that we know of. And actually Jody and I had a conversation about that today. We're gonna look at this in a different way, probably next year. But for now, we wanted to add more because we do actually get more sponsorships, and it's hard to budget for sponsorships because we don't really know. When we offer a new program, we ask businesses to sponsor it, and so we just wanted to add some there because if we do more programs, more events, we'll get more sponsors, we believe. Any questions about Recreation Center? Okay, going down next to golf course. Yep. And let's start with 280, building and ground maintenance. This actually just came up within the last week. We had an individual come out and inspect our weather station at the golf course, and it needs some repairs. And the thing about the weather station, it basically runs the irrigation for the golf course. And if we get incorrect data from that weather station, it can cause our irrigation system not to work properly, and it could create some serious damage to our turf areas. To give you an idea, a brand new weather station is about $35,000. So I did consider, is that an option? And I asked Robert, who worked with the individual, are you suggesting we spend $15,000 the upcoming fiscal year, but then in a year or two down the road, we're gonna have to spend $35,000 to replace it? Because if that's the case, we better look at replacing it now. And he indicated, no, the $15,000 will get it up and running for many years is what.
A new indefinite life cycle, so to speak.
Right, exactly.
And all it does is it.
So this, like I said, just came up the last 15 years, but it's an extremely important item for the golf course, and it's not really necessarily a capital improvement item. I really believe it does belong on building grounds and maintenance, and I think Jody agrees. So, any questions about that one, because it's a little bit larger? Going down to 380, equipment maintenance and repair. Sorry, let me go one more. It's 422. And 422 and 430, to give you an idea, 430 says office supplies, but for the last several years, it's just said supplies on the sheets that our staff function by. So they've been buying supplies like at the golf course, like flags and cups for the greens, that type of supply. Working with Jody, we've identified, no, this should be office supplies. So what I've done is I've reduced the amount of my request for office supplies to make it more realistic, but I jumped up to materials, which is 422. Now those cups and those flags and things like that will actually come out of the materials budget. So I increased the material budget request, but there's no change between the two. So,
So it was, make sure I heard that right, it was in office supplies and you're
No.
moving it to materials?
No, it used to be just called supplies, and nobody knew what that meant. And then I discovered some forms that actually described, and it really is for office type supplies. And so.
Pens, papers, stuff like that?
Yes, and
Okay.
so what we've done to more accurately track it, materials is what's used for exactly what he's
Cups,
described.
flags, poles, stuff,
Yes.
okay.
So the numbers are the same, the buckets have changed.
Yeah, I was like,
exactly.
Yes.
wait a second here.
And you'll see that.
I thought I heard something different.
You'll see that a few
Oh.
times that I can
Yes.
quickly go over as we go through these other ones.
Thank you.
Going down to Clubhouse, the same conversation we just had. So 430, office supplies. Okay, so again, I did the same thing. I reduced office supplies because that used to cover all kinds of other stuff. And then this one did not have a line item for materials, so I asked Jody to add materials now. So we reduce office supplies and we increase materials, they both balance out.
Josh?
What's, oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Chris. Could I go back to sand?
To what?
To the sand in the golf course, $12,000.
Sand?
Is that specialized sand? It is, 433. I mean, sand's sand, right? Do you have to specialize sand or what?
What was it? I'm sorry.
I guess I'm looking at sand.
Mhm.
We have to buy sand or?
That's a good question. I
don't know, is it, what
might
sand
be-
is it there?
It might be I know we just ordered more, huh? No,
Danielle's getting the pizza.
Okay, cause I think we get it from Public Works, don't we?
The road sand?
What's the
So it
sand, the
might-
sand is for the sand boxes or the sanding of the greens?
I think it's both. I don't know for sure, but I know we do put sand out on the greens.
Yeah.
I know we also put sand in the bunkers.
Is that a different type of sand that we used to get from Seminole? We send trucks out, that has salt in it, I understand it has salt in it and stuff. Is that?
Yeah, so
We'd get it.
my guess is it's not just your typical beach sand. that you-
I thought it was,
I think it's a different sand.
Probably.
I thought that sand come from Seminole though.
It was in
But
the
the sand
19
that they
budget.
bring
Do you
from
guys
Seminole
remember that?
has
What it was?
salts in it, and they can't have salt on there.
We use the sand from Seminole for the road.
For the road, okay.
But because it's more, greens are more specialized than the sand, isn't
It
gonna work
reaches
from
into the
Seminole.
ground, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's why.
That answers that,
And one thing I wanna point out, again,
He's making me laugh. It's good.
Okay.
my goal going through here is I really did spend a lot of time on the budget, a lot of time talking to the employees who've worked with it in the past. I didn't really wanna make any changes to the budget unless I was really sure that it was gonna be accurate information. Going forward, next year, we're gonna have a just fantastic budget. But, you know, we haven't spent that entire amount of sand, if you look at the prior actuals. But I don't know if that's because maybe they had it stockpiled before, you know, or maybe there was, expected to be a larger project where a lot more sand needed to be done, or maybe they dug out a bunker and needed to supply sand, so,
Sorry, not to interrupt, but that did happen last year, right? They did start redoing some of the bunkers and clearing a lot of the sagebrush out of there that had overgrown, and they started putting a lot more sand into the bunkers, redoing them.
Yep.
So that might be,
Maybe that's where it was.
that might be
Yeah.
an increase, right?
And
I'm
I'm-
just,
yeah.
I know, I seen personally, my own eyes, what was going on, so yeah.
Okay, good questions. Let's see, where are we now? Clubhouse we just talked about, so I guess we're to the recreation center.
Well, can we go back to just the clubhouse on the materials and stuff, and the office supplies and materials? What is the materials for the clubhouse consist of?
So, there's merchandise, which is what you see sold in the clubhouse.
Mhm.
And materials, let me try to think of an example.
Are they cleaning supplies?
I guess it could, yeah, it could be, it's,
Like, just anything that has
Well,
to be
that'd
done
be
out there
office
that's-
supplies, right? That's what I'm saying, I just want some examples of the materials over the merchandise that's there.
Probably couch and repair and stuff like that, maybe.
right. And so again, the supplies before, was not considered office supplies. That was the materials budget before. And so the reason I left that as the same is because the number still, you know, remains the same. So I didn't make any changes. So I guess I don't have a definitive answer for that right now without talking to Kevin. The
That's
reason
a-
I left it the same is because that's what we had budgeted in the
Well,
past.
that's why I'm asking that is does that just need to be labeled as office supplies or, cause I don't know what, that's why I'm asking what materials would be
Well, we
there.
have office supplies right above that one. But-
Yeah, and it was split in half, right? And it went to materials, office supplies, and then materials. But that's why I'm asking what the materials would be over office. What is the materials other than merchandise?
I
in
can
there?
run what's called a detailed ledger, for the last year or last 2 years and send that to you guys. And that will tell you exactly what that was.
Supplies include paper, ink, pens, pencils, and notepads used in basic operation. Materials is usually designate raw materials in the production, in the form of production of goods for resale.
Yeah, I'd have to talk to Kevin. That's what I'm saying, I don't see what materials would be in a clubhouse.
Actually, it's a catch-all,
Yeah.
so I'm not bothered by it.
Probably your scorecards and those.
Yeah.
Okay,
Place
okay.
it.
That, yeah, then that makes sense, okay.
That's a great example.
Do I need to still pull that list?
Yeah, sure, that'll work.
And what was the case number? It's under,
It's just right here.
430, line 430.
15-4101-430.
is it under golf course?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Number 430, 431.
Sorry.
Okay, so moving on to the recreation center. On the first one, 110 salaries, I did want to bring up, the additional amount is for, a proposed new position at the recreation center. Part of our goal, part of the strategic plan to revamp recreation programs and to offer more for our community, at the recreation center, at our ball fields, so indoor and outdoor. We're really not able to expand a whole lot unless we expand our staffing level. Tammy right now is our recreation program and runs all of our sports and all of our programs. But we want to start adding more special events. We want to add leisure classes. We want to add more programs and events indoor during the wintertime, outdoor during the summer. It is, again, directly kind of attached to the strategic plan, and this is a very important part of us getting there, is to add this position. So that's why you see that increase in 110 and 130, the salaries and benefits. Does anybody have any questions about that? And then I guess I should say on the other side of that, a piece of that puzzle is the increased revenues that you saw on the other side, because we believe that this person, by offering more programs and activities, is going to bring in some more revenue. And it's only going to increase year to year, because it's going to take a little while for us to establish those new programs. But as we do, and as they grow, revenue should grow with it.
So you're roughly 15,000 increase on that side to take away from this, offset the salary.
Right. Okay, so 240 recreation programs, and then 241 recreation program support. So I did add a little bit more, because if we offer, let's say, a new indoor soccer or futsal league in the wintertime, we're going to need to order specialized goals. You know, whatever kind of program, or you know, and I know futsal has specialized soccer balls that they're a little heavier, they don't go quite as far. So in order to offer new programs, we're going to need to buy, support it. And just to kind of or to specify, the 240 recreation programs, that's more for specific programs. So that's like, oh, we're doing a futsal league, we need to order a dozen soccer balls, and we need soccer goals for the gym and all that. The 241 recreation program support, because I can see maybe why people might ask, recreation program support sounds like the same. The recreation program support is more general support. So that's like today we got a request, we need to buy new nets to hold our basketballs together in the rec center in general. Or we need to buy new soccer balls or basketballs that our membership uses. That's where that program support goes. So that's the difference between those two, if you were wondering. Move on to the next one.
And just real quick, there's pizza here, so at your leisure, just go grab some.
I was
and
gonna
bring-
actually offer to bring it back and forth.
Oh.
So we could keep talking, but if that's more disruptive, then I'll go get pizza.
Eat food, please.
Yeah, whatever.
Looking at midnight.
All right, so recreation center, again, 430, office supplies. So again, the same thing, what I did is I decreased office supplies and I increased materials. Or I'm sorry, at this point, or at this one, there was not a materials line item, so we added it, so that it's more accurate budget-wise. Any other questions about that? Let's see, next one is Music in the Park, the very tail end of Recreation Center. So oh yeah, you got it highlighted. So the $6,000, that's basically because of us providing the music for the Latino Heritage Celebration at the park.
Is that gonna be offset by a grant?
I know it's partially offset by a grant, I don't know how much.
I don't know what, usually the state, Heritage Foundation, they usually gave, one time they gave us $10,000. Last year was a little less. I don't know what they did.
Yeah, I have to check with Patty, but I know that there is partial grant funding for that.
What's the revenue of that?
Yeah, I almost think.
It's not.
I
Music
almost,
in the Park?
yeah, I almost agree with Patty that it might have been the full amount of $6,000.
Don't they charge for the vendors to be around there and stuff too, or?
No.
No?
Oh, you scared the crap out of me.
I'm so sneaky.
No, we just pay for it and open it up for everybody.
Well, we, not really we, the city, right?
Music in the Park, sure.
Oh, no, the Music in the Park.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah, I'm
about
sorry, yeah.
The Latino.
No, we're bringing a lot of topics together at the
Yeah,
same
right,
time, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Questions about Music in the Park?
Good program.
Which I'm excited about. Okay, moving on to green spaces, 380, equipment maintenance and repair. That's kind of based on the current actuals for the fiscal year, and also based on the reality that a lot of our equipment is old and aging, and I'm a huge fan of really quality maintenance program for your equipment, especially because of the years that I've worked Parks and Recreation, we don't always have that funding to buy brand new vehicles. So we take great pride in maintaining what we have so that we get more time out of them. So 2 reasons for that increase.
So the 7,200 increase right there, will that put us on track to reduce that cost in the future?
Well,
You see what I'm
hopefully,
saying?
the capital budget will really help reduce that cost by buying new equipment every year or every couple of years. Because I don't wanna wait 5 years and have $300,000 of mowers and Pro Gators to buy. I'd rather buy 1 or 2 a year. So really, that's the way to save us money in the long run. But we have what we have,
Yeah.
and so we've gotta maintain it. The next one is 450, tree maintenance and replacement. And I'm still in the process of kind of looking further into this, but this has to do with the Tree City USA, and I was looking at what the qualifications were so that we can continue to get this, because I heard a rumor that you have to have an arborist on staff, and I know Dan Micah was an arborist, and so that was a big red flag. Well, we don't have an arborist, or do I call Dan and say, we need to hire you back? So I found out that we don't need an arborist to continue this, but I did read that the city is required to spend $2 per resident per year in order to qualify. And I really didn't want to lose out on that opportunity. We have 26 years. We just got our 26th year. So to be safe, I talked to Sean and Jody, and we looked up an estimate of the current population, and at $2, we wanted a little bit of cushion. So that $3,000 increase is just to help secure that we will be able to qualify for that honor next year.
What do we get for that besides a piece of paper?
So in my office, Dan had, you can see 26 years of these little plaques that are up against my window. We get all kinds of banners that they brought by, that we got Saturday when we did that event.
You get trees.
We get some trees at a discount. We get the recognition, which is pretty big, and then, the proclamation that's required to do it, and you get the publicity through that. So yeah, I think it's the ownership of Tree City USA is really what we get out of it, and something to be proud of.
And it gets citizens out to plant trees in their yards, or it's
a beautification.
Yeah, it's a beautification project.
Take your picture,
Yeah.
back in the tree. I can take a picture.
Yeah, so,
Your turn.
like you said, also encouraging residents to
camera.
plant trees. We gave out over 300 trees just in that Arbor Day celebration. And then with the idea that, you know, whatever's left over, we plant in the parks. But we do have a budget to plant trees in the parks, so even if we get rid of them all, we still have that opportunity. I guess that's it on the operations side of the Parks and Recreation budget. Anybody has questions?
How do you do all of that but spend half the money?
He's like, whoa.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Give me the floor.
volunteers is a big one, but, you know, that would take some hammering down and.
I think the recreation
Yeah, yeah.
department
Very true.
get a lot of volunteers, so, you know, and or a lot of reduced paid positions, you know, I guess when I say reduced paid, I mean, it's just like, someone gets
contract
paid,
employees.
someone gets paid for umpiring, you know, but it's not a full-time position to pay overtime on and stuff like that.
Right.
So
I
I think that helps in
have been involved in previous employment with a department that was required to make drastic cuts to the programming side of things of the recreation side. So we had to get very creative, and we came out of it, and probably 5 or 6 years later, we were probably stronger than we were before. But we really had to buckle down and really had to get together and focus on how to make things happen, you know, on limited budget. So it can be done, but it takes work and time and creativity and teams and all that good stuff.
So he just said out loud, he can do it for half the budget, all the same results. It just takes a little bit of work.
Yeah. It is not easy.
Sound like he was willing to work.
So are we on to the capital projects now for rec?
Yeah, and just real quickly, would you like to see this new rec programmer stay in this budget before we go into the capital?
The position?
The position.
We're already in the hole of the thing, we might as well add another position, maybe 2. I mean, no problem.
Sure.
Well, I would
Well,
support.
Jody,
Depends on what the positions are.
Well, Jody, are we in the hole though?
No.
'Cause I think
Well-
You still got $10 million here, right?
We
But-
do have to be careful, because if the wind farm goes away, we're gonna be in a deficit situation, so.
Now,
I like the idea of the position. On this one, I would just hold tight a little bit and then hope that the grant writer, economic development, right, spurs a little bit of that, and then this could be tagged into that for the growth part of it.
now,
What I like about it, Josh, is that it increases the, I'm not calling you by your name. It's Kivo Brain. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that the programmer, the use of the programmer is to increase the programs, the visibility of the programs. The revenue will increase because of the sponsorships and the events that people are buying in. They pay a fee to come in and do that. So that's offset pretty well, I think, and can generate funding for that position. So I don't have a lot of heartburn.
Just to add, as part of that, we're also looking at, in a way, kind of restructuring the organizational chart in the Parks and Rec department with 2 recreation programmers or supervisors, working under Patty, the recreation superintendent. We're able to kind of shift responsibilities around a little bit more so that we're gonna have a much more efficiently run office. And if it comes down to it, to show you how important I think this position is for us moving forward as a Parks and Rec department, and to support the community to provide recreation opportunities, because I don't feel like we're doing enough. I think we can offer a lot more. We have this great big facility that's getting underutilized. I'm willing to look at some of our seasonal positions that we hire for parks, green space, for the rec center, and for the golf course, and maybe absorb some of that to help pay for this position. So just throwing that out there, there are some ways, and then the added revenue, like we mentioned, you know, I really feel there's a way we can do this if the council is willing to work with us.
So I just want to say I'm split on this, right? And the reason I'm split is because I know the importance of it, right? So that weighs heavy, because know it needs to be done. I know an individual that used to do a lot of the programming and stuff like that in the past, and programs were thriving back then, and kids were involved. The part that makes me hold back on this too is it takes a lot of volunteers from the community, right, to support these programs and make these programs run. And I just seen a post the other day about needing soccer coaches, you know, to make another team. So when I see that, that makes me leery. You know? I'm just saying that's what makes me leery, that the public isn't buying into all of it right now.
Right.
You know,
So,
and it's needed. The buy-in is needed from them to help run these programs.
And that is a part of it, and we do rely on volunteers for some of our programs, but we're looking at expanding in more ways, in some ways that maybe this community hasn't experienced yet from the rec department, like contracting out with, you know, somebody who teaches guitar lessons downtown at a business, have them come up and offer guitar lessons for kids and adults through the rec center, or having ballet classes, having fly tying classes, you know, taekwondo. So there's other, you know, where the instructor comes in, they might get 60% of the revenue, we get 40% because they're doing the program at our facility. So those would involve volunteers. So some of them do, but some of the way we expand would not really be heavily relied upon volunteers. And I know the soccer situation, we had a couple of coaches that weren't able to coach at the last minute, and so, I mean, it happens sometimes,
Yeah.
but you can't recruit coaches in January, February, they don't even know if their kids are going to play. And we had 225 kids sign up for soccer. And I bet all 225 of those kids and their families in February probably didn't know if they were going to play soccer or not. So it is a real thing, but it's a real thing that is never going to go away. People sign up at the very last minute, and so we don't know what our coach.
I don't like turning kids away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, one thing that was suggested to me, that we have a lot of seniors in this community, and over the age of 65 that like to walk. We charge them a little bit of money. I know it's not a lot, but every little bit counts for them. We ought to have a program that allows them to go down there and walk. It doesn't cost us anything. It's their tennis shoes. They go over there and they just walk around in a circle. That'd be a good exchange for hiring another person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I support hiring another person if we could get a program to allow seniors to walk without charging them. Over these people would be over the age of 65.
Right, I like that. Yeah.
Terry and I.
Speak for yourself.
And just, I guess one other.
Just something to throw out.
Yeah.
They did call me one time and asked me.
I like that. One other program we're looking at implementing, and we've done some in the past, is youth, adult, and senior trips and tours. And that's a good way to bring in revenue too, that doesn't require volunteers. You get, you know, staff drivers, but we're actually looking at partnering with Sinclair Recreation to do some combined trips, maybe larger trips, that if we can't fill a bus of 24, maybe we can do 18 and Sinclair can do 6. And so we're looking at, in many ways, trying to expand what we do, and hopefully that'll bring in more revenue as well.
And actually, that's what we're trying to do, is just to generate more revenue.
Right.
I think if the town of Sinclair and Rollins can work out an agreement to put a bike trail that goes along the golf course, they just might stop in that restaurant and drink some pop after that,
Yeah.
pumping that bike road.
That's right.
You know, so I think that's a good deal. And then, using that publicity, shaking it,
Yeah.
cutting a ribbon of some kind when we open up that trail in the town of Sinclair, letting the rest of the community and the state know that we're working with another community outside the city limits.
Yeah. also want to point out that in looking at the history and talking to staff and community members, some of you might remember shortly after the recreation center opened, I think we had like 4 or 5 recreation people then, and we did a lot more then. And for some reason that kind of, that shrunk, and those employees went away, and then the programs went away. But in all honesty, the reality is if we don't get another person, we really can't do more than what we're doing now. So we're just gonna continue going how we've been going. And that would be my concern with the motivation I feel from all of our staff members, talking to them. They love the idea of expanding and doing more. We just need to have the support to do it.
And I think we kind of decided that all of us are in favor of that. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
So let's go down to the Capitol now.
All right, so on the Capitol, I'm sorry, I didn't realize we were gonna go over Capitol tonight, which is fine, and I don't know how we should go through, because we do have this.
So I would just go from right here.
So
and then I would just give them like your most critical things that you feel that we need to do this fiscal year.
So if I could open with this, because originally what I was asked from Jody is to prioritize. So we have Parks and Recreation Department, and then we have golf course. So this is how I prioritize, just so you know. Different divisions. So I prioritize golf course 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one is Parks and Green Space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the next one was the Recreation Center. 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason I bring this up is, Sean, if I go through this, because I hear Jody say top 3, but if I go through this, I might be interested in the top 2 of golf, but the top 5 in green space. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And so I had just thinking this might come up. Real quickly, I did prioritize all these, but it was on a whim just tonight, and not diving in, not talking to staff about their importance. So that said, do you want, Sean, me to try to prioritize these all in general?
Just give us your top 5, like across the board, just top 5.
I think it needs to be prioritized through each kind of department of those.
Okay, well, if it's through each department, then we do have that here.
Yep.
That's mine.
That'll work.
So each department, this is golf and green space, so like I said, 1, 2, and it's on that other form that has the green
and white
on the top. This is the top 3 of, there you go, perfect. This is based on my feelings as well as talking and having real deep conversations with my staff. I basically said, convince me why you want this capital item, and convince me why this one is more important than this one. And then I did the same thing, and then we met together to see if we agreed. So I feel pretty confident about the way these are prioritized by each department. But if you go down to here, I know this is number 3, I think? No, 4. It might be more important.
Replacement?
Yeah, it might be more important than, these 2, which are, this is 2 and 3. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
So that's what I was just thinking, just his top 5.
Yeah, top 5,
and
I
then,
see what you mean, yep.
Because he's saying that different departments might prioritize over.
So maybe leave this here.
So if we did the top 2 of each one of these, right, that'll give us a
if we what?
If we did the top 2 of each one, that might give us a good idea of what we could do. Top 2 or 3 of each section.
Except,
well, what if we just have him just his top 5 across the board?
So I can try that, and again, I'm just
because it sounds like you might sacrifice out of this department just to fund one department.
Yeah, like maybe all 4 of these are more important than any of the rec center ones, but I prioritize per division. I didn't prioritize all the projects together. But I can, and I just wanted to again point out, I just did this over there an hour ago to try to go through. So this would be my number one. I don't know if you want to split cells over here or some, or however you want to do it, to show which those are. My number two is weight room improvements. And this goes along with strategic plan, along with growth in the recreation center. It goes along with basically telling Rollins, hey, come see us. We're a different rec department. We have a lot more to offer. Look at our brand new state-of-the-art weight room. So that would be two. And then entryway landscaping would be three. Again, part of the strategic plan, part of the beautification. And you will see though, number one priority of each of these departments were the top three. So, and I didn't do that just to try to do that. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe my priorities were somewhat right. 4, I had restroom replacement at Washington Park. So I kind of jumped that one around when I looked at the overall big picture. I really felt like that was more important than the 72-inch deck mower. So those could almost be swapped in that.
Did you tell us the deck mower's worn out though?
It is. But here's why I put this higher priority. We also have a restroom at Bolton Park that is just in bad a shape as the one at Washington Park. So I'm asking for one replacement this upcoming fiscal year. The following year, I'm planning on asking for the replacement at Bolton Park. And so again, the longer we push things back, the more they're gonna run into each other at some point, and then we're gonna have, you know, 155 times 2, you know, $310,000 in a couple-year period. So.
Well, so you talked
Washington Park, was that putting in a new restroom?
Replacing it.
Leaving the one we got, and then putting in another one?
No, but we are looking at the future. Well, so let me back up. There is a consideration of putting the new restroom at another location in the park. And we do want to look at that and identify that as a possibility before we actually replace it. But that does need to be replaced at some point. And looking down the road, we do feel like that it would be prudent to have 2 restrooms at the park. In the meantime, we do, like for music in the park and everything, we do get the portable potties down there throughout the park so that we, you know, have that taken care of.
Well, replacing the portable potties would pay for